Well, hey there, gang. How does the day find you? I can and I will. Hi. Welcome back to the DM's Guild. Hello. How's it going? I got the window open today. A little bit of sunshine coming in. Welcome back. Welcome back. Special bonus announcement. No, episode of the DM's Guild. Because we got this campaign that I have to finish and run. Well, this episode of this campaign, anyways, and run on Sunday. And holy shit, am I ever busy all of a sudden? So we're gonna do a little D&D prep today here on the stream. We're gonna finish off our cell block of the Waterdeep prison. This is 1/12. There are 12 identical cell blocks, which each hold 12 prisoners, 144 supermax prisoners here in the offshore Waterdeep prison. What else are we gonna go over? I want to talk a little bit about music last time, and we sort of ran out of time, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And other than that, we're really just gonna finish off this campaign that we started working on last time here in the DM's Guild. We got quite a bit of stuff here. Warden has an immovable rod, as you see. So if you want access to this document, it is available on our Discord. I'll maybe even post the link in the chat right now. Please go over here to the D&D channel in the Talking Reckless Discord. Where did I posted it? Just right here. Well, would you look at that? Yeah. So I'll post that in the chat here for us. And anybody who wants to, I'm on 2 computers, so I gotta, yeah, you gotta see this happen. Unfortunately, you can't see your. Well, oh god damn. Okay, careful. Don't look at this too long, or your mind might break. So that link there. Oh, how far will it go? Hang on. What's gonna happen? Will the stream crash if I just let it keep going? Oh Jesus! Stare into it. Stare into it. Wow, I can still see it going. Hang on. We actually have to know. Anyways, there's that link that you can open it up right there. Wow, that's the trippiest thing. And yeah, we're just gonna, we're gonna pick up where we left off. We kind of started in the middle of the campaign. We worked on the little kind of micro dungeon that they're gonna go through. Jesus. Let's get out of there. And it's, it's got a little bit of notes here, just kind of gibberish all taken around, but the crux of our campaign. All right, so we've got a cast of characters. It's a new group, so we're kind of railroading them here at the beginning, and we're gonna send them. They're going to jail. They're going to prison. They're going to supermax prison. And they are going to. So they're basically everyone has been sent by Tommy Fornox, who is a fast-talking halfling, to this pub, this tavern. Everyone is going to get arrested once they're there because Tommy wants this item from the Supermax prison. The MacGuffin is in evidence. How do you get into Supermax prison? You can't break into a Supermax prison. Got to get arrested. So he gets the group thrown in. And then they make their way out. Hijinks ensue. Is kind of the rough idea. And after that, we're gonna come episode 2. We're gonna open it up. So this is it's meant to be a tutorial. We're gonna try and teach everybody sort of how to play their class. We're gonna have some locks that need picking for the rogue. We're gonna have some arcane mysteries for the spellcasters, and we're basically just gonna teach everybody how to play. It's a new group. They've only ever played one game with me. Some of them have only ever played one game ever. So it's very railroady. It's very. We're gonna kind of force the characters into situations, which normally I wouldn't do. And as soon as we get out of episode 1, we won't do. We're gonna give them a lot of good hooks. We're gonna meet a lot of interesting characters. We came up with this huge cast of prisoners here in the Supermax cells, and hopefully when the party's done this first episode and kind of go, okay, now what do we do? Hopefully they'll have some good hooks here from this first episode to carry on. And this also came from their backstories that they gave me as well. Was how we got here. So we have 3 characters so far. We have Tommy Fornox, who won't really appear in this episode. He'll kind of be. He's mentioned a lot in the backstories. We might see him at the very, very end. If our players get out, he's gonna pick them up. This prison is on an island, so he'll be waiting with a boat basically. We have a Tabaxi who is she's blinded. She has a horizontal scar across both eyes, and she what did we come up with here? She much like the party years ago tried to break into the prison. We haven't really penned out a reason why. But she's gonna be a good ally to the party. She'll try to help him. She'll try to help him if they agree to help her escape. And we have the warden, who was previously Aaron Hammer Smash. Listen, that was a little dwarf-ass dwarvish for me, so I changed it to Horner Smash here between the episodes. Hammer Smash it seems a little racist. You know, not all dwarves have hammer in their name. Okay? Not all dwarves have beards, so just for reason we change it. She's very wizened, and she's gonna have some real problems when these. I think it's 5. Oliver, Kevin, 5. When these 5 people show up and don't have any like paperwork or anything. They're being framed basically, and she knows as much, but the bureaucracy is kind of going to have her hands tied. So she's going to be at odds with the players as the warden of this prison, but could also be a valuable ally. She's willing to be talked around. You know, she's patient, she's methodical, she's very considerate. She doesn't react quickly. She's not compulsive. So the players could definitely talk her around. And she has an immovable rod. She has a quarterstaff that is also an immovable rod, which is fucking dope. Still with me? I'm just going to really fast go through what we came up with for our this map, also available in the Discord if you want it. We're using deepnight.net, which is a fun little map making tool where you just draw rooms, put doors, you know, that type of stuff. So it's a neat little tool that you yourself can use, or you can download the save file, the JSON that we're using for this map. Oops. For our little cell block here on the Waterdeep prison. So the first thing we're going to do today, I think, is finish off our little micro dungeon here. We have 2 rooms, which again don't have to be here, but I want to kind of build it up just a little bit more. We play for about 4 hours, and this I think will take a little less than 4 hours. So I want to do a little padding just to make the episode last. We got to figure out the evidence room, which is where the MacGuffin is going to be. The players came in with a very valuable artifact, the original thing they stole that got them here. That is going to be an evidence as well that they can steal back if they want. And then I want to come up with like 1 or 2 level 1 magical items, things that aren't super powerful but are maybe really interesting to use, things like the immovable rod. We could maybe even give like a bag of holding or something. I usually am pretty quick to give the group something to hang on to all their shit, so a haversack or a bag of holding or a portable hole or something. We'll figure something out here. And then there's also a couple things we have to do at the beginning of the campaign too. So I think we'll start in the evidence logger. This is going to be a really fun place for us to give a couple magical items. I like starting people, especially this group, where I want to get the idea that they need identify. We house rule in the games I play. It turns out in 5e, if you short rest with a magical item, you just identify it, which I think is a little stupid. I don't use that rule in my games. I house rule it out. If you want to know what a magical item does, experiment with it or use identify. So we're going to get the players used to that idea and give them some. I'm trying to think if they do have identify. They do have a bard, but I bet he doesn't have identify. He might. I'll have to check. But anyways, get them used to the idea that you can use a magical item even if it's not identified. You can press the button on this thing and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. and sort of just get them used to the idea that there's more than one way to figure out what a thing is. So we'll come up with a couple things in here. Let's go back to our sheet here. Armory, records, warden office, evidence. So the players are going to hear this on the way in. As they're being taken to prison, they're going to have a little run-in with Tommy, and he's going to let them know that. A little sip of bean juice. He's going to let them know that things only stay in evidence for 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours max. Like, this isn't going to be a full room packed with cool shit of everything that has always been in here. It's going to be pretty sparse. You know, they bring the prisoners in, they strip them, they put anything that looks magical or dangerous in this room. They take all the mundane shit to the armory where it's stored away in a chest or something. Which I think we actually, yeah, the players' items are locked in a chest in the armory when they get taken in. So it's not going to be super full. It's not going to be super duper full. It's going to have a couple things in it. It's for sure going to have it's going to have a Golem's Eye, the Golem's Eye, which is one of our very early MacGuffins. And when I say MacGuffin, I just mean a plot item, an item that exists to drive the plot forward. Our rogue Nyx, in her backstory, told me that I don't remember exactly how the minutia of it, but it ended with her basically stealing from a lord in Waterdeep, and she thought she wanted to get caught, was kind of her idea. She was going to steal and get caught, and we sort of spun it where she steals this Golem's Eye, which once would have been used to animate a golem. Once upon a time, maybe like pre-Cataclysm, was this very powerful artifact. It's still really valuable now because it's rare, but it's just a clay sphere, and if it ever gets cracked open, there's a paper inside with like the golem's receipt on it. The golem's the little paper what has the magic words on it. So that's in there. It's very rare. We're kind of hoping that they do steal it back, because it would be a great hook later, where the person who they stole this eye from will inevitably come looking for it. Make sure you have coffee too. You can't DM without coffee or tea or caffeine. So the Golem's Eye is in there. Well, I mean, let's describe the room first. Let's describe the room. Always describe the room. They're gonna open the door. It's locked, by the way. It needs a key, which we'll say is in the warden's desk. And it can be picked. So we're going to, again, we're taking a lot of liberties with common sense for the nature of this episode 1 story. Would this door be in the super max prison that hides these super powerful magical items be something that a level 1 rogue can walk up to and pick? Probably not, right? It would probably be a really high DC, but for the sake of our little tutorial and things, we're gonna have this door be pickable. What do we use to build our maps? We're using deepnight.net. Is a free browser-based little grid thing. Because we play with a big grid, with a big, like, erasable plastic. I don't know if you can see my hands. It's very large. Like a dry erase grid. Well, it's a wet erase grid. So I personally take our map like this, and there is a print image option here. Which just puts it in a little thing like this, which is perfect. Perfect. I'm just gonna put that item or that image right in our campaign. I'll actually have the grid on it though. I don't know why I turned that off. And then I just draw it on our little grid of squares as they go, or I might prepare it ahead of time, which I'll usually do if I have the time. Prepare it ahead of time on the big grid, and then just put sheets of paper down to act as the fog of war. And as they enter rooms, right, like slide the paper back. Works pretty well. Oh, I closed our map. Oh yeah, I sort of hate you guys can see my desktop. I was we got the Game of the Year show up in audio on the Patreon. That's why that's there. It's a lockdown, baby. Anyways, evidence. So they're gonna walk in. It's gonna have shelves, right? It's gonna be I have them. I have them drawn on the walls here, but we can. It's probably racks. I'm gonna say it's actually racks of shelves. They go all the way across with a like a hallway. Yeah, like this. Yeah. These are all racks of shelves. Then you walk between them. They're gonna be mostly empty. Okay, the door is locked. Door's locked. It's a sturdy wooden door. And it's reinforced. Like they could break it down maybe, but it would take a long time. It's reinforced with iron bands. Iron bands across the tops and bottoms. The sturdy wooden door reinforced with iron bands is locked. And again, we do want it to be pickable. Not super hard, not super easy. And I want a trap. I want a trap somewhere in this dungeon to get him used to it. So this lock is also trapped. If you try to pick it, if you don't use the key, it sprays poison in your face. It's probably 14. 14 is pretty easy. Well, 14 is like, at level 1, 14 is hard, but not undoable. We'll say 13. And it's trapped with poison mist trap. Which, this would be, it's not hard to spot if they're looking for it, but they have to actively look for it. Investigation, we'll say investigation 12. If they're looking for it, if the rogue specifically says, I check for traps, it's not hard to see. But, again, because it's a new group, they're probably not going to. They're probably going to just try to pick this door. Poison is going to spray in their face. Let's say a failed lockpick attempt activates the trap, which sprays poison mist. Well, it sprays a poison mist. We'll just say from the keyhole. So anybody standing right in front of the door will become poisoned. Let's see. Poison spray. I want a poison mist trap. I know they exist, and personally, I'll use existing stuff if I can. It's cutting out. That's weird, Keon. See you, brother. I'll use stuff that exists if I can. Like, why? I'm not the most creative sometimes, so if something exists, like a poison trap, which for sure does, I'll usually just use it. Especially because these things have been, for the most part, play tested and balanced and that stuff, so we'll usually just use it. I'm trying to, there'll be a constitution save to resist the poison, which is more or less what I'm looking for. These are kind of just in general. Yeah, here we go. CR1 traps. Do we see poison mist anywhere? Mechanical, touch trigger. DC22, disabled device DC20. These are CR1? Is disabled device DC20? Holy shit. I wonder if this is 5e. That's pretty hardcore. Alright, we'll make it up. We'll say it's a 12. 12 to resist the poison. Because poisoned is what? Disadvantage on everything? Ability checks and attacks? Yep, ability checks and attacks. So it's a pretty big deal. Being poisoned fucking sucks ass. Anyone in the mist must make a con save. We'll make it. I like 13. 13 to 12 is a good easy. Again, we sort of want them to. We want them to make the mistakes here. Make the mistakes here when the stakes are low. Must make a DC con save 13 or become poisoned for 1 hour. And I will just remind myself here because I always forget. I always forget the conditions. I'll just remind myself disadvantage on attacks and ability checks. Okay, so there's our door. Sturdy door. It's reinforced, iron bands. It looks breakable, but it would take a lot of time, make a lot of noise. Oh, the key. The key. Let's make another indent here. It's in the warden's desk. We'll just have it be in her desk drawer. Okay. So in the room, what do we have? 3 shelves? 1, 2, 3? Yeah. They're tall too. They're ceiling to floor probably. So how tall are the ceilings in here? Probably 8 feet. Ceiling to floor shelves. Flort. Oh, they don't line the room. They fill the room. And they're mostly empty. And why are they mostly empty? Because items in evidence only stay here for 24, we'll say to 48 hours max. Again, they're just here kind of for processing. This isn't some long-term storage where all the treasures of the realm end up. What are on the shelves? The first shelf is just completely empty. The second shelf has our Golem's Eye. And we'll have, well, I'll just put insert magic item here for now, because we're going to make up a magic item. And the third shelf has our the Nexus key that they've been sent to retrieve, the MacGuffin. The egg MacGuffin. So we'll have 1 or 2 magical items, I think. My boy, how's it going? So we need to come up with something here, something fun, something that is not like, oh, it's a +1 sword, which we wouldn't give it to him at level 1 anyways, but something that is thematically very interesting and can be used in a lot of creative ways to solve problems, but is not super powerful. Oh, and we want to give him a bag. Okay, let's look at a portable hole. Let's think about storage first. The party's going to need somewhere to put all their loot for all these future adventures, so we pretty early want to give them a portable hole, or a haversack, or a bag of holding. Haversacks and bags of holding are so common. They're in every single campaign. I feel like you see the portable hole a little less, so maybe we'll do a portable hole. This fine black cloth, soft as silk, is folded up into the dimensions of a handkerchief. It unfolds into a circular sheet, 6 feet in diameter. Pretty big, a 6-foot circle. You can use an action to unfold the portable hole and place it on or against a solid surface, whereupon the portable hole creates an extra-dimensional hole 10 feet deep. The cylindrical space within the hole exists on a different plane, so it can't be used to create open passages, meaning you can't use it to go through walls. Any creature inside an open portable hole can exit the hole by climbing out of it. You can use an action to close the hole by taking hold of the edges of the cloth and folding it up. Folding the cloth closes the hole, and any creatures or objects within remain in the extra-dimensional space. No matter what's in it, the hole weighs next to nothing. If the hole is folded up, a creature within the hole's extra-dimensional space can use an action to make a DC Strength 10 check. On a successful check, the creature forces its way out. Okay, so even if you get folded up inside, you can still climb out. A breathing creature closed within a portable hole can survive for up to 10 minutes, after which time it begins to suffocate. And as always, if you place a bag of holding or a haversack inside a hole or vice versa, everything explodes. A gate to the astral plane opens up that just sucks in everything, and your party might get lost in the astral plane. I think we'll give him a hole. How do you guys feel about a hole versus a haversack? A portable hole, you can do cool stuff like put yourself in it. You can walk inside and like whoosh, close it up if you wanted. A haversack and a bag of holding, you can kind of just put stuff in. Let's see what a haversack is. It's a backpack with a bunch of pockets. This is the handy haversack. This backpack has a central pouch with 2 side pouches, each of which is an extra-dimensional space. Each side pouch can hold 20 pounds of material, not exceeding a volume of 2 cubic feet. So it's the same thing with just a bit of a different flavor, but you wouldn't be able to go inside this yourself. What's going on in there? It's all the arguing. So much yelling. So I think we'll give him a haversack. I gotta figure out how to play music on these streams. I hate the silence, but I'm worried the VOD will get muted. Maybe we'll try today.
You're pretty good. You're pretty
What's that?
Pretty good. You're pretty good.
I legit don't know. It's not showing up on my stream thing. Was that a Patreon pledge? Thank you very much. Whatever or whoever that was. I don't know why it's not showing on my thing. One sec. I gotta fix that. Maybe the Patreon pledges don't show up like the other stuff on my little backend thing here. Who was it? Oh, Greg R. Okay, hang on. I think I might have fixed the issue. Yeah, there you go, Greg. I don't know if he's here. He's probably not on the stream, but thanks very much, good brother. I really appreciate that. Heck of a good man. Classic, vintage Greg. Greg has been around for like 10 plus years. I'm going to play a little music because this is a bonus stream, so if this VOD gets muted, I'm not too worried about it, but it'll be a good test if we can kind of get away with it or not. When I play, or when I'm creating, I like to listen to the music that I'm going to be playing while we are doing the session for the most part. And I'm going to go over today as well how I break up music, how you can use it. I'm going to give you this exact playlist if you want. I like mood, location, and then I got some combat, and then a couple like specific, like, oh, a chase broke out. I don't know if it is gonna. Apparently, it's not gonna play, but you get the idea. Is my middle name Joseph? How come we have no sound? My middle name is not Joseph, but it does start with a J. What froze? What froze? The stream? What is going on today? That's so weird. It was problems. Everybody's having problems today, it seems like. We should have sound. Oh, I know why we don't have sound, because I'm an idiot. Yeah, okay. Here's my chase music from The Witcher. It's great chase music. And it's got a lead in as well. Check it out. You're in the tavern, right? They're just chilling. And this is the only like super iconic music I use. But anyways, they're just chilling in the tavern. Something's going on. All of a sudden a chase breaks out. And everybody's running. Roll initiative or whatever we're doing. Skill checks. But where are we? We're in the prison. Which, I mean, it's not dark and creepy. It might be ominous. Might be ominous. Yeah, okay. That's pretty good. So we'll see. We'll see how this, we'll see if this stream gets muted or not. Let me know how the volume is. I want it real quiet. I want it just like ambiance. The key to good music, nobody should ever even really notice there's music playing. It should just be background. Maybe every now and again you're like, oh, hey, yeah, weird, okay. But it should just be totally... No one should even notice you're doing it, really, for the most part. We'll go into that in a little bit. Okay, the evidence room. A magic item. We're gonna give him a hole? Do we think a hole? I see haversack. I saw a hole earlier. We have to give we have to give one of the three. Well, we don't have to, but I want to give them one of the three. Holy. Bag of holding. Handy haversack or a magical hole. Portable hole. I'm leaning hole personally because again, the other two are kind of just lame. Notices all. That's a good one. The other two are kind of just lame, like things you have to put stuff in. There's really nothing interesting about a bag of holding unless it gets ripped open or something. So I'm thinking we give them a hole. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's in there. It's a portable hole. But they won't know it's a portable hole. All they'll see is a folded piece of cloth. And what did it say? It's 6 feet when it's unfolded. Maybe. It's Jamal. Yeah, he got me. Matthew Jamal Eats. Yep. Where did you see the J? Where did Matthew J Eats pop up? Okay. unfolds into a circular sheet 6 feet in diameter. All right. Do we want to make it circular? It's so obvious. If it's a circular piece of cloth, everybody is, everybody knows. Ah, it's a portable hole. We should put our own spin on it. It should be a portable hole, but what if it's not a piece of folded cloth? What if it's something you can throw? What if it's like, how can we make this portable hole not super boring and generic? What if it's like a bracelet? What if it's like a hoop? A little hoop, and everyone thinks it's a bracelet. It looks like a bangle, I think you put on your arm, but actually you throw it onto a wall. You throw it onto a surface, and it whoosh, expands to be the 6 feet in diameter and makes the hole. And then when you close it, it shrinks back down, or something. You think, yeah, and everyone will think it's a magic bracelet, and you can put it on and it does nothing. But they'll probably fuck around with that idea for a long time before they figure it out. Does it have to be thrown with intent, do you think? Do you think if you drop it onto the floor, does it make the hole? I don't think it specifies. Usually magical items are kind of smart like that, but again, this is our world where it's way more interesting. You gotta throw it with purpose? Yeah, okay. Do you have to know it's a hole? What if you just... What if you think it's a mundane bracelet and you go to throw it to your buddy and then you miss and it hits the wall? Does it whoosh? Dad bod, my lad, how are you? Maybe not, so they can accidentally find it. I think you gotta throw it. I think as long as the item thinks it's being thrown, it does it to the best of its ability. You know, if you sit it down on a table, it's not gonna whoosh. But if you like throw it with a bunch of force, it'll... I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. It's not a folded piece of cloth. It's a... it's a metal hoop. No, it's not metal. It's like polished stone, which makes it seem kind of brittle almost. Like a big hoop of polished stone. Like maybe like, I don't know, what's big enough to get on a wrist? Maybe like a little bigger than that. 3 inch diameter. The polished stone loop, stop loop. About 3 inches in diameter. And it's black stone with like this white. It's almost like black and white marble. It's got like white striations. It's black stone with white. How do you spell striation? Vascular. So we'll actually make this. I use the exact same sheet that one Matt Mercer uses for his magical items. So we'll make our magical item card. So if they identify it, they get the card. The Golem's Eye, not magical. This is one of our story MacGuffins. And this is the real MacGuffin. So they have a hole. Let's give them something on the first shelf. So we give them a portable hole, which is real dope. I love our spin on it. I want to give them one more interesting, but not... Again, not super powerful magical item. So they do have access to, if they can get to it. Erin has an immovable rod. As the warden, she has an immovable rod that can be used to like try to seal doors shut or bar entry. So, pardon me. That's already like the immovable rod is a great, perfect example of it, where it's pretty powerful if applied properly. You can do some really weird shit with it, but it's not just a win more, like a wow, I do 10 more damage now, great, or anything like that. So that's something what I'm looking for level 1 here. Any ideas? Any ideas? Let's just start spitballing magical effects. What are some kind of low-powered but interesting magical effects? Seeing in the dark. That one is usually all right. Again though, that's kind of uninteresting. In our last campaign, and we can't reuse this one unfortunately because we have two players that play both games. We had a reverse skeleton key, which was real dope. Somebody in the chat came up with a reverse skeleton key that instead of unlocking any door, it can lock any door, which was fucking awesome. Seeing through walls might be a bit much. That might be on the more like the too powerful end of the spectrum. How about, I don't know, what are some, maybe like something that can camouflage you. Maybe like as long as you have it, it's like it would be like a plus to stealth checks, I guess, and things like that. But it's like Snake's Octo Camo from Metal Gear 5. If you're holding this thing and like touching a certain type of terrain, it sort of like whoosh, turns into the match the terrain a little bit. An invisibility cloak, still a little maybe a little too powerful. Yeah, chameleon. Yeah, it'd be like a stone of the chameleon or something. Something that takes the sound you're making and projects it elsewhere. That is a great idea. That is right in this wheelhouse. I'm not guaranteeing we'll use that one, but we're gonna write that one down just as we're spitballing here. So like a sound reprojector. That's cool. That's really cool. It can throw sound. Yes. Oh, that's dope. And it could even be like, it could be themed around like a marionette or something, some theater thing, something where people are throwing their voices. That's cool. That's really cool. The chameleon thing. I'm gonna write down that chameleon thing. I think that might be kind of fun. I don't know how to spell it. Chameleon. I'm the great chameleon. I'll just put chameleon thing for now. What's some other ideas? Sparrow, how are you, brother? I don't know, we'll just look at like magical effects here and see if anything inspires us. I wonder if we can find a list of them. Here's 10,000 random magical effects, apparently. For wild magic. Let's see here. Let's see what D&D Beyond has to say. D&D. Maybe we'll list the magical effects. Sure. Let's look at some random magical effects here and see what happens. They're mostly for wild surges, because wild magic sort of sucks. Oh, wow. Wow. 8d4 of the caster's teeth becomes sentient. I don't know if you can read that. 8d4 of your teeth become sentient. Potentially all of them. Potentially all 32. That doesn't seem very good. Caster and target exchange heads, but retain own personalities. Yeah, this is more wild magic stuff. That's not really going to help us. Make any random person super horny for 10 minutes. That's a good idea, but then my players and I have to roleplay that, which, especially for new... Listen, I'm down to... I'll roleplay whatever you want, baby. But it might be a little... It might be a little much. It might make people a little uncomfortable for their early sessions. How about... I don't know. I really like this sound reprojector thing. That's a fucking cool idea. Let's do that. Let's do that. How does it work? What does it look like, first of all? What does it look like? There's a list of minor magical items. A needle that becomes immovable. Oh, hey, yeah, perfect. A horn made of ivory. Instead of sound, it produces wind. These are all great ideas, actually. A set of small metal balls that vibrate when touched together. A glass with 2 openings. Things can only go through one end and out the other. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. That's a good list. We'll keep that list up if we need more inspiration. A shell that you speak into? Yeah, like a conch shell. And you point it. You kind of speak into one end, and it has... You know how they like kind of spiral to a point, and wherever you're pointing it, is where, say, within 100 feet? What's the range on a firebolt? 60 feet? How about 60 feet? It's like spell distance. What if you're making footsteps? You could project that too. It's any sound that the person makes while they hold it. Okay. Let's make it a little less. Let's make the range less then. That's pretty powerful. Because then they're basically silent as well. Not only, so at this point it has 2 effects. It makes the person holding it silent, which is pretty good, and it also rebroadcasts the sound. It also like makes a distraction. It's starting to get a little too powerful. How about like any sound that something like thaumaturgy could reproduce? We'll make it like cantrip equivalent. Let's see what thaumaturgy has to say. Your voice booms 3 times as loud. Create a sound that originates from a point of your choice within range. Alter the appearance of your eyes for 1 minute. You can have 3, yeah. Maybe something like that. You've never heard the word thaumaturgy? Thaumaturgy? Let's maybe make it make sound instead of a magical bong. A wizard's pipe. The long bottom leaf. Let's maybe make it not rebroadcast. How do we feel about that? It's you can make whatever sound you want, but like the part where it silences you seems like they could really use that for so much shit. Too much at level 1, I think. I sort of like these guidelines. You can make your voice louder. You can create a sound that originates from a point. So you can make your footsteps if you want. You know, but if you're still walking loud, they'll still hear you. Can you save the sound and use it later? I don't know if that really applies. It's held in the cup and then you can throw it. So you make a sound into this cup, and then at a time of your choosing, you can throw the sound. Or like you can capture, like, okay, we need footsteps. All right, I'm gonna hold. It's like a microphone. It's just a microphone. I'm gonna hold the cup up to your feet. Okay, make some footsteps. Okay, great. Now I'm gonna shoot it that way. Okay, yeah. It's basically just a microphone with a speaker. Okay, what are we gonna call this? It's shaped like a cup. Well, all right, what does it look like? What kind of a cup? A teacup? Teacup? Little cup? Big cup? Stein? Does it have a lid? Is it a stein with a lid? And when you open the lid, that's when the sound gets out? You open the lid, get the sound in, and then close it. Close the lid of this big ass stein. Take it over. Cup with a string in the bottom. And a can on the other end. I like a stein. I'm putting down a stein. We need a name for this magical item. This is the This is the Stein of Sounds. Which is a... What's it made out of? What are steins usually made out of? Kevin has one. Ceramic. Like porcelain. It's,
You're pretty good. You're pretty good.
They don't show up on my thing! Thank you, whoever that was. What was it? They're not showing up on my thing. Oh, Philip. Philip L. That's weird that it shows first name, last name. Thanks, Damon. I really appreciate it, y'all. Really appreciate the subs. Or the Patreon pledges. And we're gonna do... The $20 tier has 2 extra of these streams a month on it. The DMs tier. Because we do this every week. It's the Stein of Sounds. A stone? It's like ceramic. It's a ceramic stein. It's definitely got decorations on it though. What's it decorated with? Faces without mouths? Maybe? Like mouthless faces? These kind of eldritch... they're sort of, what's the word? They're like, they're not carved, they're embossed. These kind of embossed, with sort of, elongated, mouthless faces. It's pretty disturbing. It's a little freaky. And it has a... What's the lid made out of? The lid is made out of some interesting or unknown metal. Something like that. How much was... It sucks that I can't see this stuff on here. I'm so sorry. I have no idea why it does this. I think maybe if I log in. $30? Oh, shit. Well, I gotta move that... Damn, dude. Thank you very much. You're the biggest patron so far. I gotta move that the stream goal $30 up then. So the 30 and the 50, they'll count towards our stream goals. Sorry, gang. It's our second day with this new setup, and I don't know why it's not showing up, but that's a real problem. I think I might just have to change a little thing. Yeah, I do see it now. Well, thanks very much. The showing of generosity is just fucking insane, you guys. Okay, ceramic stein. The lid is what's a rare metal? It's platinum. So already this thing they'll be, oh, this is valuable. They'll just take it because it's got platinum on it. A platinum lid with a platinum lid. Awesome. All right, let's go design these magical items. So I don't have the sheet on me, but check it out. I use Matt Mercer's magical item template. And I know he's posted it. I think it's on Geek and Sundry. Here it is. Yeah, template free to anyone to download. We'll have a link to this as well in our Discord. It's great. This is the best way that I've ever found to do these. You need Excel is kind of the only problem though. Okay. Pardon me. All right, what do we have? The Stein of Sounds. It is it's a wondrous item. Wondrous items kind of just mean they're one of a kind. They're unique. It doesn't necessarily mean they're super powerful. It just means they aren't generic. Like, oh, it's a +1 longsword or whatever. It's a wondrous item. We don't have to worry about slots. Valued at... So value is a combination of if they wanted to sell this or buy this, how much, what is a reasonable approximation, but it also factors into if they wanted to make this item. You need to know the value of. I don't really have a good set of... I don't really have any good context for where our value should be. Oh, it's behind my dome. Here, I'll move my camera. Oops. Go away, Skype. Let's see. Let me just see some other items for context here, maybe. Do they have values on these? Sure. What would like ammunition +1 be? If you wanted to make a Stein of Sounds yourself, how much would it cost you? Probably quite a bit. Probably 2,500 gold in and around, I'm gonna say. 2,500, give or take. 300? That's way too cheap. Way too cheap. Making magical items is hard, especially when they're unique. All right, item description. It is a black ceramic stein. Embossed with, what did we say? Elongated, mouthless faces. And they should go up here. The platinum lid. Boss elongated mouthless faces. Alright, now how does it actually work? 1,000. 1,000? 1,000's still pretty cheap. So when the stein is open... Okay. The stein... What's the most concise way to describe this? Is capable of holding a sound. I'm just gonna use the word recording. Recording a sound when the lid is open. Closing the lid stores the sound. Opening the lid releases the sound, but it doesn't just release it. It throws it, right? Or does it just release it? 1,001. Price is Right rules. Does it just release it? Or does it project it? Does it throw it? Now that we're here at the actual design of it, I think it might... Yeah, I think if you just open... I think wherever it opens, it releases the sound. So if you want to... Yeah, you can throw it. You can try and throw it. And... It'll... But would you still hear the sound of this? So if you're in a dark hallway and you want to try and distract a guard, I'm going to record the sound of I'm going to record whispers. Close the lid. And then I'm going to throw the stein. Is it going to clang, 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 clang as the stein bounces around, and then the lid's gonna open, and you're gonna hear the whispers? I think, you know what? I think that is how it's gonna work, because you could use this to, you could secretly record someone's voice without them knowing, and then later try to use that. You have to chuck it. Oh, you're bailing it. You're like, ugh. Maybe it just has a... Does it fill with liquid when it's... Maybe it fills with liquid when it has a sound stored, and then you literally throw whatever you throw the liquid on is where this sound seems to emanate from. So yeah, if you just dump it, if you dump it behind your back or something, the sound would seem like it was just coming from behind you. I sort of like that. I sort of like that a lot. What happens if you drink it? What happens if you drink this magical sound liquid? You die, is the answer. Okay, it's capable of recording a sound when the lid is open. Okay, so when it... Man, this is hard to, describe concisely. I know how it works in my head now, but how do we put it into words? So you open the lid, you can record a sound. When the lid's open, it fills the stein with liquid. Filling the stein. That's a confusing way to put that, though. That sounds like if you fill it with liquid. Okay. We'll say capturing the sound. Opening the lid causes the stein, capital. When you drink it, it would vibrate through your stomach and cause your body to explode. Exactly, yeah. You would die. Opening the lid causes the stein to capture a sound. And that it fills with liquid when a sound is captured. What kind of liquid? They're gonna ask me. I know they're gonna ask me. When you drink it or pour it, it causes the person to make that sound. Oh yeah, if you pour in... Oh yeah. If you pour it into someone's mouth, it's just the sound comes out of their mouth as though you could replace a voice. Okay, capture sound up to 60 seconds long, because we gotta think like the players here, because they're gonna fuck with us. It fills up more and more and more and more and more. It's only capable of holding 60 seconds of sound, of liquid. It fills with liquid when a sound is captured. And then throwing or dumping the liquid onto a solid surface causes captured sound to it wouldn't appear as though it would seem. I don't want to use the word sound again. The captured sound to sound to seem like, well, it does. It causes the captured sound to emanate from the surface. If drank, sound comes from the drinker's mouth. That's a cool item. That's a super cool item. Hell yes. And then I'm just going to print this off. I'm going to print this off. I'm going to cut this out. And whenever they identify the item, I just give this to the players. Plasm. Ectoplasm. I feel like it should be like beer or like something that would normally be in a stein. Mead, maybe? Like beer, but worse. Something fizzy. How about, I'm gonna say it fills with like a black stout. Yeah, it fills with a thick. It's like, it fills with, it fills with Guinness. It fills with Guinness. With liquid, a thick, what's the word? It's got a lot of foam, a lot of head on it, heady. Yeah. It could look like fog, but I think you want to like, oh, the liquid would just be like milky clear. I want someone to drink it. We definitely want someone to drink it at some point. So I think if it's an obviously weird substance, then no one is ever gonna want to taste it. But if you're like, it smells like a really rich, dark, heady stout, you know, it's like a good beer, a good dark beer. Like, I'm gonna try and taste it. It should have a sound in it too. A mercury-like substance. I think we totally want them to drink it. What does it have stored in it? It already has a sound in it. It's full of liquid when they find it. The stein of sounds. Yeah. Which has a sound stored, and it should probably be a story hook. It starts like helium. Like high, like what? Like high voice. Like I could probably even do it on the mixer. Maybe. Oh.
Well, that's
unsettling.
Wait, am I not normal in one ear and deep in the
other?
other? What is happening here?
This is what happens when you mess with magical items. Oh god. Makes your voice higher pitched. A Turian. Oh shit. Shepherd. No, I think it has to like exactly. I don't even. Oh, that's a Kingdom Hearts thing. It has to replicate the sound, I think, like perfectly, or else it's kind of useless. If it replicates everything, but it's. I'm sure I have a high voice thing. Okay, here. If it replicates everything.
But it's like way up here. Who's gonna fall for this? Nobody. So maybe we should
Just have it. Well, that's not.
Well, how high can we go here? Holy smother of Christmas.
Who would have had it before they find it? That's a good question. That's what we're deciding right now. Who would have had it and what sound is in there? It's probably one of the prisoners because it's here in evidence, right? Let's look at our prisoners. We have angry purple tiefling who won't speak. We have pale-skinned dwarf, vascular, who paces back and forth muttering angrily in dwarvish about his burning hatred for orcs and half orcs and quarter orcs. Anything orcish, really. We have Solace, the red tiefling male who wears a simple loincloth. He's sallow and gaunt and has 2 chains that wrap around his head in a figure 8, meeting at the mouth. The man's been cursed with silence. We have a female drow. We have Whistler, who we don't really know what is up with him, but can carve magical items. One of the cells just has a Shiba Inu in it, a little very fat little doggy, who barks at his tabaxi neighbor. 8 has a trap. 9 has our tabaxi mist. Whoops. And 10 has the man in the circle of salt. Tomo, the warden's voice? Maybe. How about... It could even be something really subtle that hints towards the future. Maybe it's a language they don't know how to speak. What do the drow speak? Is there underspeak? Is that right? We're gonna have this drow incursion late in our campaign, kind of. So maybe it's something in... Apparently it's high drow. Oh yeah, deep drow and high drow. I thought it was called underspeak. Underspeak must be something different. Oh, and of course drowned sign language. How could we forget DSL? Obviously. Bye, Emma. Coincidence, indeed. Tomo shows up, Hema leaves again. Yeah. Have you ever seen them in the same place? Or maybe it just has a mundane sound in it. Let's say, where are we? Oh, here we are, evidence. Let's say it has, maybe just like the sounds of this of a struggle of a person getting like arrested, taken to. Maybe it just has like Crown's Guard being like, "Stop, you're under arrest," type of thing. Kind of the last sound of. This was presumably taken from a prisoner if it's here in evidence. Yeah, I'm gonna say that seems reasonable. Sounds stored. We'll just say a struggle with the Crown's Guard. Stop in the name of the law. Sound of a scuffle. Yeah, a burp. We're not. It's not really. We're like this isn't Monty Python. My campaigns, again, there's room for funnin'. Always room for funnin' and laughing and being goofy. But there are real stakes. There's a real world where people will die if our party fucks around. Exactly. Stop right there, criminal scum. Stop right there, criminal scum. We'll just play the clip from Skyrim when they open it and dump it out. I'll have the clip ready to go, and it'll just be that guy. Stop right there. Bet you never worked a day in your life for all that coin, or whatever the fuck they say. That'd be really good. That'd be really funny. Okay, I really like this. This is a great magical item. This is maybe the greatest magical item we've ever come up with. Of the 2 we've made. What was the other one? Oh, the reverse skeleton key is fucking dope, though. Is real dope. Inigo Montoya. That's how my tabaxi talk. Tabaxi. Khajiit have wares. And then the 3rd shelf has the Nexus key. Alright. Boom. Evidence. Done. Yeah, the skeleton key's dope. They kept using it, too. We haven't even talked about it. They kept using it, and, like, who grabbed it? Brando grabbed it. Shay Fiddlefingers grabbed it, and was, like, kept using it. And was like, well, this fucking thing doesn't do jack shit. Because he's, like, using it on locked doors. And it, you know, goes in, and, like, yeah, you feel the tumblers moving, and it, like, audibly clicks. And you pull it out, and the door is still locked. They're getting so pissed at this fucking skeleton key that apparently doesn't work. The skeleton key, the reverse skeleton key was real dope. Real dope. Okay, perfect. And the portable hole. Oh yeah, we'll make our portable hole as well while we're here. Our unique portable hole, which we can just copy pasta. What did the key do? It locks things. Yeah, it's a reverse skeleton key. It can lock any door. It magically locks the door, so you can't pick it. You have to either dispel or use some other magical means. But you can still break the door. You can still kick the lock out of the door and then open it. But yeah, it was a reverse skeleton key that locked, capable of locking any door. Magically locking any door. Does it have a value? It should. On here. The value of a portable hole. 20,000 gold? Holy fucking shit. For real? Hey, hang on. What is the value of a haversack? $2,000 gold for a haversack. 20,000 for a hole. Holy. Oblivion had the best lockpicking system. Was that where you had to like you had to bounce the tumbler and then lock it at the top? I think, right? I remember that one. 20,000 gold apparently. Portable holes. Fucking dope. And this is not a folded piece of cloth. What did we say it was? It was a black stone hoop, like a bracelet. A polished stone loop, 3 inches in diameter. Black stone with white striations. Do 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 do. And let's just take the portable hole description, which I should have just stayed on. Oh, that's a really bad one though. Let's check D&D Beyond. They won't get the paragraph about the holes in holes thing. If the hole is folded up. Yep, that all applies. Polished stone loop, 3 inches diameter, white stone illustrations. You can use an action to unfold the portable hole. Okay, we don't place ours though. You can use an action to throw the portable hole at a solid surface. Easy fat fingers. Throw the portal hole to solid surface, whereupon the hole creates an extra visual. Yep, that all still is right. That's all still right. You can still climb out. You can still fold it up. We'll say folded up. Picked up. Creature in the holes. Yep. Good. Great. But they don't need to know. They don't get to know this. They don't get to know. Do they? If a hole is folded up in a creature's extraterrestrial space, 10 DC, this guys will check. Needs to suffocate. No, they don't get to know that. They'll know that they're starting to suffocate when they start to suffocate. Boom, there we go. 2 magical items. 2 unique. The portable hole is fucking super powerful, but Skyrim Fallout 3s. I remember Fallouts. I don't remember Skyrims at all. Boom. So I'm gonna print those off later. All right, evidence. Dunskies. So we have 2 little rooms here, which we may or may not. Maybe we'll just delete them. Maybe the stairs just go right into the warden room. Do we want anything else in our little micro dungeon here? Our little area that the party is gonna have to kind of heist their way out of. They're gonna heist their way out of this part. They're gonna have to. These big double doors. There's a chance for a little bit of combat here with these sleeping guards. They might end up fighting a few guards. There is a opportunity to talk their way out. There's an opportunity to disguise their way out. There's an opportunity to climb up a chimney if they're clever enough. They can talk to the prisoners and find methods of escape, as well as kind of story hooks. Is there any trope? Is there any obvious thing you think we should put in this little tutorial? Like, we have traps, we have lock picking, we have unidentified magical items, we have combat, we have some social encounters, we have some more puzzly encounters. What's our party? We have a bard, a rogue, a druid, a fighter, and a monk. A monk. Where is this music from? Stealth. The stealth part will come. Welcome to the stream, by the way. C1. The stealth part will come in this kind of the prison area. So every 30 minutes, guards come in through these doors. Doors open. Guards come in. Doors closed. Guards do their little patrol. They look at all the cell doors. They look at all the cells, make sure everything is as it should be, and then they come back out. So there's gonna be, to initially get out of this initial holding area, they're gonna have to do a little bit of stealth here at some point. Catch these guards unawares. Because this is a raised platform that they walk into. Like, this is designed, the guards walk in, they can immediately look around and see the entire room, see every cell, and there's a little bit of a blind spot, maybe, oops, right on the edges where these stairs come down, and there's a little bit of a raised wall. Someone could lie, maybe prone, and kind of hide behind this little raised wall area. And they might end up... So we have to decide if we want to let them stealth their way out. The Emperor randomly has to come through the party cells because he's running from assassins. Yeah. The blades. You told me this cell would be empty. We have to decide if... Can they stealth right out? Do we want to leave them the option to just stealth their way out? I mean, I was sort of imagining they would have redundancies in place where... Unless you have the proper documentation, you're not getting through. You know, these are like holding cells almost, where you come into this room maybe, and boom, boom, doors closed. They check who you are, check your documents, you know, the pat down, the whole thing, and then door opens, go into the next room, boom, same type of thing, double check, triple check, make sure you're all good, and then you're free to go on your way. And there's like a just kind of the entrance building on the main floor up here. Bribe the guards with something. They can absolutely bribe the guards. They can bribe the guards with that's a good point. What would they have to bribe them with? Well, I mean, like they have their goods, their existing goods, so they do have stuff to bribe them with. You know, they have this valuable artifact that landed them here in the first place. They can definitely bribe the guards. They can try and talk to the warden. She's going to be suspicious. You know, these prisoners are going to come in here, and they're not going to have any paperwork. And she's going to be like, well, this is highly irregular, and it's basically going to be like, listen, someone high up just says, don't worry, just put them in the cells. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about who they are. Just lock them away. Don't ever talk about them again, type of thing. So she's going to be, she's going to be suspicious and could probably be talked around. She's a good person. Genuinely good person, our warden. Not every NPC has to be a huge douchebag to the party. A puzzle. I was thinking of a puzzle, maybe. Puzzles are really, really, really hard to do well, especially for a new group. And this whole thing is kind of already like a big puzzle almost. If we could figure out something, I don't know, like what puzzle ideas do you have? And oh, sorry, where is this music from? This specifically is, I have no idea. Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunter, music from the motion picture. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about my playlists and the stuff I use. And if you yourself want this exact playlist, the exact one I use every single session, it's on our Discord. I didn't even make this. I just follow it. Someone else made this, and I subscribe to it, and God bless them because it's dope. Our good friend 11641369646 made this. Ezio's family. Is that I know I have a lot of Assassin's Creed in here as well. Did you see that one? There's Assassin's Creed 3 down there. So do we want to let them be able to stealth right out? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I'll have this thing for you on the Discord, Sparrow. And we're gonna, if you're here towards the end of the stream, I'm gonna do a little breakdown on how I use it and what goes into it and how to. It's really easy to do music poorly. It's really easy to have music take your players out of a scene instead of help them get into it. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Do we want anything in our 2 rooms? We could just delete these 2 rooms. It makes a lot of sense that the first room you walk into is the warden's office. There is processing upstairs. You know, we could remove these redundancies and put them upstairs. And basically at that point, it removes... Letting them stealth out is a good option if they feel like they're out of ideas. If they're like, well, we've tried everything. We've tried everything. We can't figure out how to get the fuck out of here. What are we going to do? Leaving the option to just try to stealth out might be good. The key they need to steal is an evidence lockup in the warden's office. Yes. Yes. Thanks very much for your follow as well, C1. The key is the Nexus key. The thing they're after is a it's like a set of coordinates basically for if you have it, you can teleport. You can get to this teleportation nexus, which reaches all throughout the line. It's very powerful. It's from an earlier campaign that is kind of getting tied in. But yes, it is in evidence, and it's only going to be there for 24, maybe 36, maybe 48 hours. And the party's going to know this coming in, so they're on a bit of a time crunch here. They got to get in, they got to get out before they are forgotten in these cells forever, basically, before they are just left down here to rot. I think I'm gonna get rid of these. I think we're gonna move these upstairs, and it'll just be kind of a general cell processing area. But we'll leave a way for them to get out, literally through the, like, basically run out, but have everyone, they'll escape, but it will not be quiet. Everyone will see and know, and they will be wanted, basically. Whereas if they can subtly and quietly escape, because they're coming in, there's no paperwork, there's no, you know, they assume maybe they're going to be interrogated in a few days, like, who knows? Really, they're just left down here to die. So if they can get out subtly, they won't be these wanted figures. But if they go through the front door, there'll have to be an encounter up here where, you know, they got to subdue a guard or something to get through the final gate, and everyone is gonna know, which I actually really like. That would be a really interesting second episode if our entire party is these wanted criminals, especially because one of our players, I don't know if I have it written down here, one of our players, OJ, who's playing Ibris, he described him to me as like Captain America, basically, like always wants to do the right thing just for the sake of doing the right thing, is like just tries to be Mr. Heroic. So having him forced into a life of crime or having him be wanted by the law would be really interesting, I think. Yeah, he's very lawful good. Like unwaveringly lawful good. Jumps on a grenade for his party members. So we'll get rid of these for now. I really like that. That's, you know, we're just trying to make interesting scenarios for the party to figure their way out of, or not. Pardon me. We'll just make these all stairs. And maybe we'll make it just a little more like this. We'll just kind of move the staircase. I'm a little OCD about my maps. Nice, clean. Simple and clean. There. Yeah, so it would be above. The entrance would be like a floor up here. And this is a tiny cell block, you might be noticing. So, well, there's got to be more than 12 prisoners in the Waterdeep prison. There are 12 identical cell blocks of 12 prisoners each. Is this the AC song? This is, apparently there's something called Prisoners. The original motion picture, Prisoners. Unless it's a long, unsettling hallway. I think it's just a staircase with a landing on the bottom. What was I just saying? Oh, right. So there are 12 identical cell blocks on this island, but they all are completely separate from one another. In the event of something going terribly wrong, they are all totally isolated. So the top, when they get out, this island is going to just be this sparse kind of windswept island with just these 12 little squat buildings, and that's it. And they'll probably be able to figure out that there are 12 more cell blocks, but maybe they won't know. Maybe they won't know. Taiwan, welcome to Dungeon Masters Guild, brother. It just changed. I don't think I have Ezio's thing. I have Assassin's Creed 3 on this one. The only Assassin's Creed on this playlist is this one. We're in Balf. I do have... I think he's a location. I think Ezio's song is a location. I think he's a town and city. Florence. This one? Tour of Venice? Are we designing dungeons? We are. We're designing a campaign. We're going over some DM tips. We're going over... We'll be talking a little bit about music today. And hopefully this VOD doesn't get muted all the shit, but it might. This is kind of a test to see how much music we can get away with playing. It really helps. Also, just speaking about music, I know a lot of people don't use it, and I myself was kind of against it initially as well, especially for new groups. It feels like you're coming on a little strong, right? I totally get that. You don't want to be... Listen, you're already playing D&D. It's a little better now that it's so popular and everything, but you're already playing D&D. People are like, okay, what is this nerd shit that I'm getting into? And then also you're playing this music. Like, I get how it totally comes on a little strong. It is going to help you and your players act out scenes so much. It is so much easier to even just to speak with you right now. And I can leave pauses. And I can speak dramatically. And we have this beautiful music to sort of fill that gap. Whereas if we are just doing it cold, suddenly it's a little bit... The pauses... I myself even get conscious of the pauses. And, you know, it's a lot harder cold. Everything is. And you're going to notice it especially for things like... we did a funeral scene, which I'm going to do cold and I'm going to do with music when we do it. But especially things like sad, you know, our sad mood. I have my playlist broken into mood. Things like sad, things like dark and creepy, right? We're down in a dungeon. We're in this dripping, wet cavern. We can hear water in the distance, the odd, like, drip, drip, drip. There's kind of glowing lichen casting this corpse light. Isn't that creepy? Just describing it to you, it's hard, right? If I hit a music song here, a music song thing, we'll find a good one here. I mean, I just randomed it. Even this is a pretty good one. Oh, wow. Now we're in this dark, dripping cavern. Now we're peering up, looking into the gloom, seeing, like, if there are spiders about to drop onto us. You know, now this green corpse light that is casting these really long shadows, we're trying to look and peer into every one. And it just sets the mood so much more. And if you want your players to feel any emotion, it's really hard to do it cold, unless everyone is way into it and everyone is like a professional actor who's been improvising for years. It's really, really tough. But you can feel a little music. You know, everybody has seen... This is from Amnesia, apparently. Everyone has seen television and movies and just kind of almost instinctively knows that, like, oh, sad music is playing. We're kind of setting this sad scene. People will naturally start to talk a little slower, a little more... This is contrasting, but... you know, people will start to play to the scene just naturally. You can't help but do it. And you know, when we're playing the sad ones, we want to talk softer and we want to talk slower, and and you just automatically put more emotion into your voice. You know, if we're in combat and you want players to be excited and you want it to be popping off, boom, we hit the combat music, and now we're fighting orcs or whatever. It really matters. Really, really makes a huge, huge difference. But this is a bad combat song. The only way you're going to figure that out is to try it, to use it yourself. I'll send you this playlist. I really, really, really like this playlist. Different intensities of combat. Stepped up to a 2. What's a 2 sound like? A lot of Fable Legends, apparently. Okay, yeah, this is a 2. Things are heating up. We got any boss? Let's see, we got some boss battles here. Here comes the boss. Also from Fables Legends. For big set pieces, for things like bosses, I will usually go ahead and pick a song ahead of time. But this is pretty good boss music. Yeah. You think you would overuse Witcher 3 combat music? So that's a little bit... We might as well just talk about it right now because we're in it. A good playlist. This playlist, particularly, has no Game of Thrones, right? Has no... We're not going to find anything super popular in here. There is the odd Witcher song, which I use. Like this one people might recognize. This is one of my chase musics. Good music is not iconic. Because as soon as someone hears the Game of Thrones soundtrack or whatever, they're like, oh shit, that's Game of Thrones. It pulls you right out of that scene. You're gone. You're thinking of The Witcher suddenly. Or you're thinking of Lord of the Rings. Or you're thinking of whatever that music is from. You're not thinking about the game. So you want to try to use not super iconic, not super popular music. And that's what this playlist is. Like, you'll hear the occasional one. You know, I've got like a little Bloodborne in here. But even this, right? It's subtle and subdued enough that if you're just hearing this, you're probably not even thinking about it. Unless I just let you sit here and listen to this and tell you it's from Bloodborne. Right? It is subtle enough, hopefully, that you're not realizing it. And you're gonna see, like, you know, we do have a song from The Last of Us. It's not the super iconic one. It's not that menu music that everybody knows. So if you are gonna use stuff, make sure it is the lesser known music. Don't use Lord of the Rings. Don't use Game of Thrones. Don't use The Witcher. Don't use popular video games that are out right now. Don't use any of that stuff, because it is going to do the exact opposite thing you want. Suddenly your music is undermining your scene instead of making it better. And I guess while we're talking about music, let's just do the whole fucking thing. So when I do music, for the most part, and I'm going to talk about the playlist I've set up, because obviously that's what I use. Sorry, I'll get it out of the camera screen there. It's broken into moods, and then locations, and then I have combat, and then a couple special things. Moods I am usually just using on shuffle. You know, these playlists are kind of designed that they can just flow one into the other, and they all sort of fit with tempo and theme, and even a lot of the instruments all fit together. The locations get a little different. The locations are pretty sporadic, and there's a big list of them. There's Kaer Morhen, I just saw somewhere. So for locations, I will usually pick a theme, you know? So, for example, the first time they meet Tommy Fornox. Where is he? Old Tommy Fornox. He has a song. Here's his song right here. Every time they meet Tommy, they're going to hear this song. They're going to start to associate this song with him. It's kind of the idea, you know? If we are introducing a new place, you know, when the first time we introduce a city, I'm going to have a song picked out. You know, I don't know, it doesn't, we can just pick anything here. Yep, here we go. So the first time we see Kirkwall, the City of Chains, I'm going to play this music as I'm describing what the city looks like, the, you know, nature of the area, the overall description of the location is going to get its own theme, and then we're going to get right back to mood. Every time we come back here, or we're thinking about, or we're talking about the great city of Kirkwall, and there's a bit of exposition to it, we're probably going to hit the theme again, just to kind of build this continuity. That's how I do it. Personally, there's no wrong way to do it. but that is how this playlist is designed to work. Hawk Family theme is dope. I used Hawk Family theme in our last campaign. And I think that's about it. That's kind of all I have to say on music. Y'all got any questions on music? AMA music, or how I use it, it's really gonna help. It really, really, really is. Okay, let's do one example. One quick example. I'm gonna load up our last campaign here. So this was a pre-built campaign that they do on Roll20. This is the Roll20 like tutorial campaign they have. It's called the Master's Vault. I took it and kind of muddled it around for our own uses. Excuse me, I gotta clear my throat. I'm just tearing up. And there was a funeral scene. There was a funeral scene right at the very, very beginning, is why I bring it up. Look, here, perfect. Parabor. Hawk Family theme, which I think is what we have right now. Yep. So as I was describing Parabor to them, this village of Parabor, the Hawk Family theme. Boom, cue it. Boom, read my paragraph. And then we get into this funeral scene. So very quickly, I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Maybe we'll do the first paragraph. But I'm gonna do it cold. I think pre-made campaigns are the best way to start. Hold on to that thought. I'll answer that in just one sec. I'm gonna do this cold, and it's gonna be awkward, and it's gonna be cringy, and that's how it's gonna be at your table. So this is a very real example of why I think you should pretty much always use music. And again, this is like, I have been doing this for years. I have thousands of hours of public speaking. Like I do not get nervous reading dumb D&D stuff to a table anymore, and it is still going to be cringy. So, all right, set the scene. We have just read the description of this village to them, and the music has changed, and we are in our first scene. 3 days ago, Elric Moonstone, a renowned mentor to many famous adventurers, died. He was known in the Miriam Vale as the Master, and you were his final pupils. You'll also see me, as I'm reading, I'm faking eye contact to all my players. This is something you want to practice for real, because it's really fucking hard to do at the table. Sorry, where were we? You were his you were his final pupils. The ancient elf who taught you the secrets of combat, of magic and wilderness survival, he passed away in his sleep on the same night that he told you your training was complete. It was so sudden you hadn't even begun to look for work when news of his death came. And though the master was over 800 years old, he was lithe and energetic. It seemed he could have lived another 8 centuries. So see, it's not, it's got a little bit. I'm trying as best as I can with my voice to elicit a little bit of emotion. It's not bad, right? It's not bad, but let's try it again. I'm going to hit a song here from the sad soundtrack. Let's try it again. This one is called The Funeral Alone. Let's see what I used. Threnody. Okay, I'll use that one. So already, you're immediately feeling something. 3 days ago, Elric Moonstone, a renowned mentor to many famous adventurers, died. He was known in the Miriam Vale as the Master, and you were his final pupils. The ancient elf who taught you the secrets of combat, of magic, wilderness survival, passed away in his sleep on the same night that he told you your training was complete. It was so sudden, you hadn't even begun to look for work when news of his death came. And though the master was over 800 years old, he was lithe and energetic. It seemed he could have lived another 8 centuries. So already, right, it's just... And the only thing we changed, it was almost the exact same read. It was maybe a little slower, trying to sort of match the tempo of the music. All we did was add a little bit of music. And it's not meant, you're not going to bring players to tears, probably. No one is going to, have this amazing emotional renaissance, more than likely. But it is gonna help. And especially if you start doing it all the time, if you start using music subtly to help kind of create the emotion you're seeing that you want, players will eventually just get into the habit of going into those scenes. It's going to make them play the character way more. They're going to try and feel what you want them to feel. And it's really, really, really effective. And it makes scenes between the players especially way better, where at the end of this funeral, the local dwarf priestess who runs the Holy Beacon asks you each to say a few words about Elric in eulogy by sharing a favorite memory of an unexpected lesson the elf taught you. What memory did you share at the funeral? So there's a part where the players have to answer, and especially for the player, it is really hard to give an emotional in-character response just cold, just like you and I are right now. Like try and answer the question for yourself right now. What memory did you share at the funeral? You know, I told them about the time. What did I write down? The master made my favorite cake for my birthday. He didn't even know it was my birthday. For a lot of players, doing something like that is going to be really tough cold. If you just give them a little bit of music, you know, now they're feeling it. Now they're thinking about whatever their memory is. You know, I remember not only the time the master made a cake for my birthday, I'm remembering all the real birthdays that Matt Eads has had, for better or worse. And it's a really, really powerful tool. I can't recommend it enough. But I would also say, do it like this. Have it organized. Have it ready to go. A lot of people will, just go to, YouTube, something like that, and type in like, okay, D&D music. Let's see what we can. I need some D&D music. I got a game tonight. What can we find? We play for about 3 hours. Perfect. Here we go. Boom. I don't want to hit an ad on us, but yeah, 3 hours of music. Okay, we're playing our, we do our intro, whatever. Now we're doing our funeral scene. And actually, luckily for us, it kind of worked out. This is maybe thematically appropriate, but it's not going to line up, right? It's not going to be curated. You're going to have sad scenes, which are backed by boisterous music. You're going to have... that's from The Witcher. You're going to have probably iconic music in there, like we just heard, where immediately, oh, that's The Witcher. So don't use these. Don't just use these... Yeah, I do have... Listen, I got a good memory. I've only had 27 birthdays, all right, Ludicrous? Don't use these mashups. They're cheap. We use a lot of existing stuff and go lots of places for inspiration. Don't use these. Is it better than nothing? Maybe. But also maybe it isn't even better than nothing, right? Is having music opposed to the emotional intention of your scene better than silent? I don't know. I'm going to send you this, though. I'm going to send you the link to this. All you need is Spotify, and it is awesome. I do it from my phone even. The way we play is we play in just a living room that has a TV. I turn Spotify on the TV. I can do it all from my phone. Okay, we're getting to the sad scene here. I just got to get that going, and it's really good. Very powerful, very intuitive. Yeah, I need to use the washroom now. I need to go blow my nose. Because I was too deep in my scene. We'll be back in like 5 minutes. We're going to finish off this dungeon. And maybe we'll talk a little. I got a couple more topics maybe we'll bring up today. But don't go anywhere. The DM's Guild resumes in just a moment.
Une mort superficielle. Superficielle et la mort. Qu'est-ce que la vie sans la mort? Qu'est-ce que la mort? Une vie ennuyeuse. La vie est surfaite. La mort. Pieuvre armement. Attraction irrésistible.
Freedom. A fusion of vigilance, conscience, and uncompromising clarity of vision. A need so fundamental, it permeates our very being. And yet, a man may be brought to his knees in a single heartbeat. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, Taken in His Prime. For young Manny, the night hasn't been kind. He's a marked man, selected for a lifetime of servitude after answering an ad in the newspaper. But first, a little field surgery is required.
Well, well, look what I found.
Ah, please, no!
Yeah, I think you're just about ready for it.
Best if you don't resist this, kid. We gotta beat it out of you.
What? I don't understand. What did I do?
Gotta beat it
I
out
just
of
wanted to
him.
get a job in the service industry.
Wow, you're gonna serve all right.
Don't work in the service industry. Moral of the story. Okay, so I think we're done. We're done our little micro dungeon here. I'm gonna save this. We'll be on the Discord for us. Where did we save it? Stream DND starting prison. So we have the end of our I'm messing up my beard here. We have the end of our episode done, more or less, right? They're gonna get to jail. They're gonna go through this. This is kind of gonna be, depending on how much time it takes, we're either gonna wrap probably in the prison, or if they do make it out, we'll wrap just when they escape. But we need to do the beginning. How do they get to the prison? These are our characters, so these would go right here. So, to answer that question, we need to know the origins of all our players. I'm not going to read these out in total. Again, we have new players. Yeah, they'll probably find a way to escape in half an hour. In which case, and if they do, that'll put our DM skills to the test, because we will be improvising fast and furious. I have some very general ideas that aren't totally fleshed out, but we could always call on them if we have to. I want to get a little bit of music going here somewhere. Maybe just a little, maybe like a little mystical. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Could they betray Tom? So, let me see what I sent Oliver. So we have 3 of these. Oh, Sparrow, you asked me something before too. What was it? Do I think pre-made campaigns are the best way to start? For a DM, absolutely. If you are DMing your first game, it's really hard to... You don't know, unless you've played a lot, and even if you've never DM'd, you don't know what the players are kind of capable of, if that makes sense. Basically, the players are always going to do the thing that fucks your plan over the worst. Always. No exceptions. All the time. And so it gets really hard to make a campaign that can kind of encompass all that without feeling like you're super railroaded. I would say start with pre-mades. That's what I did. That's how I learned. And like, I've been playing D&D since I was like literally 11, 12 years old. And I still use them. I still use them all the time. All the time. Like the Master's Vault was a pre-made campaign from Roll20. I'm creative, you know. I'm quick and witty, and I can improv with the best of them, but I'm not always this type of creative. You know, I'm not artistic in that sense, where it takes me a really long time to come up with even something just simple like this, which is why I really like doing it in this kind of group format here. But I would say absolutely, yeah. If you're gonna DM, start with pre-mades. And again, it's up to everybody, right? It's totally up to you. Personally, I try to focus on running the game really well, and try to focus on... It's always about the players for me, right? They don't give a shit if I wrote the campaign or if somebody a million miles away wrote. They don't care who wrote the campaign. It gets easy to become very vain, to become almost very prideful as a DM and be like, no, I'm writing this story. This is a great story. The players are going to experience this. But you kind of have to break yourself out of that mindset. You know, the best games, and again, there's no right or wrong way. I'm talking like there is one way to do it, but there isn't. This is my way of doing it. The best games, it's the player's story. It's not your story. If you want to get the players involved, if you want to make them feel like their choices have weight, which they should, and consequences, and shape the world, then it has to be their story. You know, I'm not writing a plot. We don't. This campaign is I mean, theoretically going to go till level 20. It's going to go the whole 9 yards, assuming people are down to play all that way. I'm not writing a plot. There's no grand overarching like, oh, it's Vecna. They got to beat Vecna. They got to get to 20 and stop Vecna from reincarnating. They're going to figure it out, and in a very almost Metal Gear way, we're going to draw lines between things fast and furiously and try to connect it all and try to make it make sense as best as we can. But it has to be the player's story. It has to be. Otherwise, they're not playing characters with choice and free will, and this world isn't a living, breathing, malleable thing. They are just basically listening to you read your fanfiction, which can be tough. I've played a lot of games like that, and a lot of DMs, especially the first few times you do it, you'll very much try to tell your story. You know, the party will want to go left, and you'll say, well, no, you got to go right. My story goes right. You have to go right. But it's their... It's got to be their story. And we use a lot of tricks as the DM to always make them think it's their story, right? If they want to go left and you want them to go right, you take that thing on the right and you just put it on the left and never tell anyone. You're like, yep, you're always getting here no matter what. But it can never feel like that. We can never tell them that. All right. We need to know who our players are. Again, we have new players. Normally, I get players to write their own story hooks. I give them just a couple of very loose caveats. In this case, Oliver and Kevin, who have played for years. Well, Oliver's new, but he's played quite a few games now, are writing their own story hooks. So I just give them a very general, your hook can be anything, but it has to end with Tommy Fornox, owner and proprietor of Tommy's Tonics, who it has to end with him sending you to this tavern, the Hag's Head, for one reason or another. So, our monk, her backstory, she said, we did like a session 0, and I asked all the players these questions. Her monastery sister, how did it go? Her monastery sister was murdered, but before she was murdered, the murderee knew she was going to die, left this character, Arignani, played by Paula, a note, and basically said, like, I need your help. Later that same night, our monk finds the note, and then later that night finds the corpse. And doesn't know who she can trust, leaves the monastery, heads to the hub of civilization, Waterdeep, to try to find information on what the hell is going on. Happens to meet Tommy, who says, hey, check out the Hag's Head. A lot of the underbelly of the city goes through there. You might know something. Is the end goal to think of what they may choose before they do it? As much as you can, I try to sort of account for everything, but they're always going to surprise you. Don't ever think you have everything figured out, because they will always, always, always surprise you. Always. Every session, they'll find a way that you didn't even consider. So I have a lot of tools of, like, just sheets of, like, random things ready, like encounters ready to go, names and places ready to go, shops ready to go, because a lot of it is going to be shooting from the hip. So our monk, that's how she, the only caveat in this story, you have to meet Tommy. Tommy has to send you to the Hag's Head. Oliver and Kevin are writing their own. Our rogue, Nyx, in her backstory, she is a thief for survival, a burglar, and she wanted to have a big heist from a very powerful lord. So we set it up. She met Tommy. Tommy said, "Hey, go get this golem's eye in this Waterdeep Lord's manor." Knowing that the person they're stealing from is a big enough deal to land them in the Supermax. This is how Tommy is going to get him in. Tommy's going to get him into the jail, and then he's basically going to tell him, get me the thing I need, or I'm not picking you up off the island, and you're here forever. So Tommy needs a crew that can't betray him, is the idea. He's trying to basically browbeat our party into stealing this thing for him, because they're locked in prison, and he's not gonna boat them off the island if they don't get it. So Nyx's story, our rogue story, opens. She has the item. They did a great heist. She has the thing. They're going to the Hag's Head to meet Tommy for the handoff, where they're going to get paid, or so they think. Excuse me. Varys is our druid, our drow druid. He wanted to be friends with Nyx from old times, so they are, and he helped her with the heist. Kevin and OJ, who is Ibris and... What the fuck is Kevin's name? Chadswick or Chaddington? Chaddington, I think. It's Chad something. I have no idea how they're tied in yet, which might be interesting to try to make it up on the fly day of. But they know their story hook has to end with them meeting Tommy and Tommy sending them to the Hag's Head, this tavern. The Hag's Head is a sting. The Hag's Head is a setup. The party is only here to be arrested. Kevin is such a Chad, I know. When the party's getting here, it's going to only have off-duty, quote-unquote, Crownsguard inside. And, excuse me, I'm just losing my voice here. Tommy has basically fed the Crownsguard a description of these thieves, the item they are said to have stolen, and the Crownsguard are going to show up and have this, like, description of these people that Tommy all sent here and be like, well, I mean, we got them red-handed, I guess. Take them away. Turns out, the person they stole this eye from, where's my mouse, is, let's go up here. Where did I write it? It's up in the, maybe I didn't write it down. They stole this eye from a masked lord, which is this kind of, shadowy ruling cabal of, well, they're not a cabal, they're like an official government office, I guess, but they are the ruling body of Waterdeep, and they literally wear masks, so nobody knows which lord is going for which. It's meant to, I guess, kind of protect through the anonymity of, you know, if one of the lords is saying we should raise the tax on grain, and you're a grain farmer, you're not going to know who to stab because he's got a mask on. But they are this existing. It is in the. Oh yeah, right here. Tommy contracted Nyx and Varys to steal a highly valuable but completely useless Golem's Eye, which was once a powerful magical item capable of powering a golem, and is now extremely rare and valuable, but quite inert from one of the masked lords. So it's a big deal. They stole from the Pope, basically. They stole from a Pope, which is why they're getting thrown into this supermax. No questions asked, no paperwork, no names, nothing. This lord has enough influence of just... This is what happens to people who try to steal from him or her. So that's how the party's getting there. So we need to set up the Hag's Head. And we need to set the scene that our party is going to initially see when the game starts. It's going to end with them getting arrested. They may try to flee. We should probably build in some sort of a chase thing. Or maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we start going. We won't have a map for this one either. This is the Hag's Head Tavern. It's so this is like the rundown. Well, there are a lot of taverns in Waterdeep. This is one of the more rundown, seedier taverns. It's pretty widely known that a lot of the city's thieves and the seedy underbelly flows through not just the Hag's Head, lots of these little taverns, but the Hag's Head is certainly one of them. And we have an opportunity here to... we want this to be a surprise. We want to sort of put the players at their ease. We don't want them to know something's up until something's up, right? Just like it would be if these were real people. We want this... basically these Crownsguard emerging from the woodwork being like, oh, we caught you. You're under arrest. We want this to be a huge surprise. Howdy, Keon. Oh, it's working now? Dope. So we're going to try to... we're maybe even going to give a couple red herrings here and there. A bartender with a Brooklyn accent. Sure. Hey, what can I get for you? Like that? He's a goblin. Is he a goblin? What'll it be? Hey, time is money, friend. That's my goblin voice. All right, bartender. He's in on it. The bartender is in on it. The Crownsguard has previously, like, they have come into this bar. They're like, hey, we got a tip. We think this thing is going down here. Basically, we're gonna set up. We'll have a couple guys inside who are gonna pretend like they're off duty. We'll have people on the doors outside, and then once we have, our culprits, our list, our description that Tommy Fornox, that motherfucker, has given us, we're gonna spring the trap, basically. I'm walking here. Do I use random encounter tables? I do not. I will pre-build some random encounters. I'll have, we're primarily combat in this first episode is going to be with Crownsguard, with the police, basically, of Waterdeep. So primarily we're just using guards, which I am literally just using the 5e monster guard. And so for building my encounters, I like Kobold Fight Club. I found to be a really good, just a quick little, like, okay, I want my party to, let's see, we got 5 players, level 1, perfect. I want my party to fight guards, like, what is a good ballpark? I could go in the DM's guide, and I could go look at guards in the monster manual and say, okay, what's my 5 players at level 1 is an XP budget of 1,100, 1,200, whatever it is, and I could math it out, or I could just go to Kobold Fight Club and go, okay, how many, let's see, okay, we got 4 guards, that's probably going to be easy. 5 guards, it's getting a little tougher. If we put them against, if we put them against 8 guards, well, that's too much, So Kobold Fight Club I use as just a quick, very, very, very quick, just a ballpark of how much stuff to fight, more or less. And then I will prepare ahead of time. I'll have some encounters, I'll have like, okay, this one's 4 guards and 2 guard dogs. This one's 6 guards, but 2 of them have spears. This one is whatever. And so no matter what the party does, if they're like, oh, we're not going to jail, we're going to fight our way out of this. Fuck this. I just have it ready to go. Boom, here's an encounter. It's already designed for a number of players and their levels, and you can just snap it off. You don't have to like, okay, well, hang on, let me get Kobold Fight Club on my phone here real fast and just like, oh, okay, just 5. The more shit you have ready to go, the more general prepared kind of chunks that you have ready to go, the better. Because you can always find a spot to apply that anywhere. You can squeeze that into a campaign in a pinch, absolutely anywhere. Encounters, shops, NPCs, names, places. Have that stuff ready to go. I have a literal page of each, so that when the party's like, well, we want to go find like a shop I would have never thought of. We want to go find. We need to get a horse shod. We want to go find like a stable to get new shoes on our horses. Like, oh, stable. Okay, flip to my shop page. Boom, got a name, ready to go. But they will primarily be fighting guards. The guards will not have spears. They'll have short swords. And I think our guards also have screams and jars, if I remember, which is another magic item that I forgot to make. All right, we got a bartender. He's got a Brooklyn accent. What race is he? He? She? Probably he. He's got the accent. Yeah, I'm walking here. Freshen your coffee. Has he been smoking for 20 years? Does he not really have... Is he a dwarf? Okay, that's, again, a little racist. All right. He's a dwarf. All right. He's a dwarf. He's a halfling. What's his name? Yeah, I like that. He's a little halfling, but has this, like, really deep, like, grizzled, like, what can I get for you? Hey, how are you? How you been? And he's just this little guy. Just this wee little guy. He's a halfling. He's a halfling now. Jeremy. Jeremy what? We got Tommy Fornox. The halfling. Bobby, Jeremy. Let's see. When I see this person in my head, let's just maybe this would be more of a probably. We're in the hag's head here, so it's probably a little ominous. It's maybe not that ominous. It's a little too ominous. It's maybe a little mysterious, actually. Coughs up smoke. Yeah, he's smoking a big pipe. He's always smoking a big pipe. Yep. He smokes a big pipe. And yeah, he has to like stop and like like the real like clear his throat out. Spit one out. First name cousin, last name Jimmy. We already have a first name brother, last name Desmond, so I mean that trope is already. He smokes a big pipe and frequently stops to clear his throat. His through. How does he talk? Does he have any speaking mannerisms? Just the accent? I mean, I wrote Brooklyn. I don't know if that's the right word. I know what it means when I go to play this character. We can call him Baxter. He needs the last name still. I don't have my... If I had... Where are they? Oh, they're all the way over there. I could just whoosh, rip out my random halfling names and fire one out if I had my papers on me. Let's see. He's Baxter. He's got a pretty halfling-ass halfling last name. Baxter Black. That's a good name. Baxter Black. Yeah, he's Baxter Black. That really... I like the way that rolls off the tongue. Is he Black Baxter? Maybe he's Black Baxter. No one knows what his last name is, but he's just such a roguish... He's such a scoundrel. He used to just be Baxter. But now he's a villain. I wouldn't trust Black Baxter if I were you. Alliteration, yeah, totally. I'm gonna put Black Baxter. Yeah. That's just how he introduces himself. Black Baxter, they call me. What'll it be? Smoking his pipe. You gotta like, he's pantomime out the lighting the pipe. Can't get his goddamn pipe lit. Frequently stops to clear his throat. Black lung Baxter. He doesn't include the lung. He is... Alright, what type of person is he? Well, what does he look like? He's scarred, you know. He's seen some wear. Yeah, lung's my middle name. Does he have an eye patch? Is he missing an eye? Probably not. Although maybe. Does he have hair? Do you have any scars? Eye patch? Maybe, does he have a big, maybe he's got a big, like, 3-clawed, it looks like a, I don't know, a cougar or something, like, it goes across one eye, and, like, the hair doesn't grow where the scar is. Oh, I just, touched my glasses like a stunned idiot. Hey, I know this one. What's this one from? 3 fingers. Oh yeah, he does only have 3 fingers on his left hand, doesn't he? He's got the thumb. Which ones is he missing? He's probably he's missing these 2. Like he's just got these left. Because he can still, you know, he can still wield a sword or like daggers in each hand. He's frequently mistaken for a dwarf. He's thick. He's a very thick halfling. Dwarves are much taller than halflings. I think. Let's see. What is the average height of a dwarf? Average heighty. Yeah, between 4 and 5 feet tall. Dwarves are much taller than halflings. Halflings are small. Halflings are 20 feet of movement? 25 feet of movement? They're really small. It's, help me Google. Yeah, about 3 feet, so halflings are really little. 3 feet tall. Dwarves are between 4 and 5. Halflings are like OJ size in real life. As tall as OJ is. Also, they have Lucky. Fucking stupid Lucky. Lucky's a dumb feat. A halfling with Lucky takes the feat Lucky. And is also a sorcerer and gets to reroll 3 dice. Per short rest. Per long rest. Alright, he's got 3 fingers on his white hand. On his left hand, on his white hand. Yeah, we'll get there. He's got a big scar. He's got like a three clawed scar. It looks like three kind of they're parallel scars. Run across. They run across his face, kind of starting like just under his eye, all the way back across his skull. Under the eyes. Kind of like giving him this sort of like, it's like a 4-pronged mohawk almost, because the hair doesn't grow where the scars are. I'm just gonna write 4-pronged mohawk. No hair grows where the scars are. We already have a character missing eyes. Let's not do an eye patch. Who is Miss? Oh, Mist. Mist was blinded. That's right. I'm gonna put Baxter up here actually as his own character. I like to have all my characters in just one big thing. Personal preference. Do Kinder appear in anything other than the Dragonlance stories? I don't know. I don't even know what Kinder are. Kender, apparently. Small but boisterous. What are they? It doesn't actually say what they are. Halflings? Kender are cheerful people. Not thieves. Handlers. Doesn't say. I'm assuming they're halfling-like. Kinder in German is children. Tasselhoff Burfoot. So he's got that big scar, or his big scar across his head, and he's missing, what do we say, the pinky and the ring finger? There's a lot. One of our player characters is missing a finger. A lot of characters have missing fingers on his left hand. And he is he's definitely he's a fixture in the underworld here for sure. He does some shit. Play with knives and accidents can happen. Yeah, he lost it in 5-finger fillet. He's definitely he knows things. He knows things. People tell he what's the word for him? He's not a fixer, but he's got an ear to the ground. He does. He has an ear to the ground and knows. I don't know. We'll say water deeps. What's the word for it? He knows many water deeps. Let's say more criminal secrets. He also knows. He's in on it with Tommy. He knows about the sting operation and is in on the job. Tommy. 4 knocks. An ear to the ground is a sizes joke. Okay. Maybe. Lots of sailors had missing fingers. Ropes cutting them off. Oh yeah, he's got a sailor's tattoo. Okay, yeah, totally. Yeah, that's how he... Oh, that's gross. That's gross. His fingers were cut by a rope. Parallel scars over his face, and just in the eyes. His left hand. What's a sailor's? I'm not gonna say a sailor's tattoo. He has a tattoo of... It would be... It's not like an anchor. It's not like a Popeye tattoo. Back channels. Exactly. Yeah. He's got an ear to the ground, you know? It's not an anchor. It's not... Come on. He's not Popeye. That's lame. It's not lame. It's just... Yeah, like a siren. Yeah. I like a siren. Siren would be good. Like a merlady. A mermaid. Yeah, alright. Yeah, he's got a tattoo of... We'll say it's a beautiful... I'll say mermaid. Beautiful mermaid. Sort of, kind of like maybe like music notes. We'll just say like singing sailors to their death. We won't use the word siren, but they'll make the connection. That's how he lost his. That's how he lost his fingers. Not Tommy. Fingers were cut off by a rope. A rope at sea. Something happened and the rope that he was holding on to suddenly went flying and like just whoosh burned the 2 fingers off. That's gross. That seems like that would fucking hurt. A religious depiction of sirens of the sea for protection. So maybe, well... okay. Tentacles. Skull with tentacles. Kraken mermaid. Not a pretty mermaid. You know, he'd be a pretty mermaid? He'd be like a monster mermaid. Okay. Tattoo of... What would that be? What would make it religious? Like a fantasy version of wearing a cross today. Okay. See the old god of sailing is, shall we? That's not what I want. Oh, Valkyr, captain of the waves, patron of sailors. But it's chaotic good. That doesn't really. That's not really a Black Baxter kind of thing. We probably want an evil or chaotic deity. God of portals. God of hunting. Oh, these are deceased. How about... None of these are really doing it for me. Very old tattoo from his youth. Yeah. I'm gonna put like a religious... Well, hold the God of Storms. Hold Cord the God of Storms. It's unaligned. Athletics, sports, storms, brawling, strength, courage. An 8-pointed star. He's not specifically sailing, but... We're probably thinking way too much about it, but I like doing this stuff. Yeah, sure. Alright, let's do that. What's his symbol? An 8-pointed star composed of spears and maces. Okay, so it'll be the like I think it'll be the like the siren, but it'll be I don't know, some some kind of maybe it's like, okay, if his symbol is an 8-pointed star, maybe it was the 8-pointed star. Initially, it was just the 8-pointed star. He just is a very young man. He's like, I'm getting a tattoo of my god, because that's what young halflings do. And then later, kind of added this siren to it to look as though the 8-pointed star is like tying her up, like protecting the sailors from this. It is like surrounding her or blocking her deadly voice. I'm just gonna put that in the 8-pointed star. Is that right? Chord? Where is Sewell? Ah, great. And the 8-pointed star is the whole. I mean, the whole tattoo is pretty faded. It's very faded. But I really like the idea that he either found or lost religion. So one of them is way more faded than the other. Say he lost it. Are very faded compared to the siren. This is a character that these players are maybe never even going to talk to. But this is important. This is important. They got to feel real. They got to feel real. He's a sailor. Maybe they're going to get way into Black Baxter, and he's going to be one of the main NPCs in our story. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. Boom. We have a bartender. He's going to be the only one in here, along with Crownsguard. It's a sting. Who is anonymous armadillo. So the party's also not gonna all arrive at the same time. Talks about the sea and leaves if it ever comes into conversation. He talks about the sea and leaves if it ever comes into conversation? I don't get it. Like he talks about the sea, but if anyone else ever does, he just is like, don't talk about the sea. I hate the sea. You know I hate the sea. Don't talk about the sea. It's my bar. We should come up with a bunch of like nautical sayings that he says. Often talks about the sea. Oh, never talks. Hates it. Hates it. Hates it. Hates any talk of sea or ocean travel. And he'll kind of snappishly quiet anyone who brings it up. Yeah, he lost his hand. He's sore about it. The sea sucks. He hates the sea. Bad things happen to Baxter at sea. We don't know what, but this is going to come up later. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. The players are going to be so obsessed with him that we have not seen the last of Black Baxter. Ironically, loves salt. He's an old salt dog. Okay, so the Hag's Head, the tavern. What does it look like? Well, the sign outside is a... It's a crone's head, like a stereotypical witch with a really long, like, hooked nose. Welcome back, Emma. How was your trip? 2:30 already? The sign is a wadden. It's a wadden carving of, I'll say a crone's head with a long hooked nose. It's a single-story building. It's a squat single-story building. What does it look like from the outside? Single-story building. And it's in a seedier part of town. as well, definitely. It only took you 1 hour to get home. Damn. Squat, single-story building. A little bit, you know, a faint, kind of a faint glow just barely makes its way through really dirty windows. Through like windows you can't even see through. It's not even clear if they're even clear glass. Maybe they're like frost, the equivalent of frosted glass. Really dirty windows that you just cannot see jack shit through. The odd bit of light flickering out from inside. Yeah. And the door is the door is broken. The door doesn't latch, so you have to. There's like a board you like lean against it that Tommy demands, or not Tommy, Baxter demands. As soon as you come in, he's like, "Close the door." It's almost the Hateful Eight thing of that fucking door. So when they go to open the door, initially it won't budge. They'll have to like, push it and move this block of wood or weight behind it. A door noise when you walk in. Maybe a crack whenever somebody walks into the place. And they're longer than even grandparents can remember, and no one knows who actually owns it. That's right. Everyone assumes that Baxter owns it because he runs it, so he must own it, but... we'll write that down here. The head has apparently been around forever. No one can remember who built it, when it was built, or even who owns it. Baxter is generally assumed to be the owner, as he runs the business. He might not be. Maybe he's running for someone else. The door's broken. It doesn't latch. It's a barrel. It's a barrel with like a little bit of water in it just to be heavy enough. As a barrel. We'll say a quarter full. Quarter full of water. Used it as a weight to keep it closed. It's a really shitty bar. It's a really, really shitty bar. Super duper shitty. So whenever anybody opens it, it's like the door gives a little bit because it doesn't latch, and then it hits this barrel. And then Baxter probably yells like, "You gotta push the door!" And then they push it, and they hear this barrel like scraping back across the floor, and then they gotta put the barrel back after. This door's fucked. This door is truly fucked. It's homage to the Hateful Eight. He yells at anyone coming in to, quote, "push the damn door." And then he yells at them again once inside to, quote, "close the damn door." There's an axe buried in the counter from years ago, and no one has ever been able to pull it out. Oh shit. Okay. I like that. But I like that as long as it's not the stereotypical chosen one pull the axe. How about Baxter like made this he's like, he thought it would be a good thing to get people into the bar to talk about, so he went and found someone who could like build this axe head handle into this countertop in a way that really they're one piece. They were made together and never come apart, but he's hoping that people come in to try to pull the famed axe from the bar or something. It's like it's the D&D version of those, like the love tester machines in the bar. The tourist attraction, yeah. For 5 silver, you can try and pull the axe out if you want, and you get to keep it. If you pull it out, you get to keep it. Keep the axe, like a tourist attraction. I think that'd be really funny. He went and talked to a transmutation wizard, and the wizard, let's see what transmutation wizards can do. Because I bet he could transmute the head of the axe, like, into the cabinet. Is the axe garbage? It's bolted. It's bolted under the counter, yeah. Yeah, fuck it. It is just a mundane thing that he set up. I really like that. Alright, the end of the bar has it's a hand axe buried in it. No one has ever been able to remove it. Though we'll say many have tried throughout the years. The locals generally just ignore the axe now. Although every now and again, some drunk comes through and tries to pull it out. And then italics, because we don't read this to the players. The axe is really a... what would you call it? It's a... just a prop axe, nothing special. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. It is literally nothing. You can't get it out to begin with. The axe was actually built into the table, or the bar, by Baxter as I'll just call it a tourist trap. It's firmly held in place with 4 bolts under the bar. Yeah, and locals totally bet visitors. So the Hag's Head tonight is going to be completely empty, except for the Crown's Guard. Tommy and Baxter are in on this thing together. Tommy has said, listen, I'm going to send these people here. They're going to get arrested. They have to go to, like, I have this plan. You got to make sure no one else is in here tonight at this time. So there's only going to be the party. For now, they can go back to the Hag's Head. I hope they come back to the Hag's Head, because this place is fucking awesome. With this stupid axe. It's fancy too. It's definitely fancy. This will be 2 sentences. It looks magical. You know, the head is etched with. It's got very fine. What's like the swirly plants or something? What's the filigree? It's got some very fine filigree. Is that the word? Maybe not? Oh yeah, I just spelled it wrong. It's got very fine filigree and, like, floral patterns. Whatever Baxter was like, I don't know, what's yeah, flowers, that's magic. Sure. They had on there. Very fine filigree and floral pattern. And the handle has... we'll say it has like a gemstone on the pommel, which is it's actually just glass. Anyone who looks closely enough will be able to tell that that gem is a bunch of bullshit. I'll say a large blue gem on the... oh, the axes don't really have a pommel. I don't know. What's the bottom of the handle? It, like, caps the handle. Capping the handle. The gem is really just colored glass. And anybody who investigates it with a high enough check will be able to tell that. They actually totally have some over-the-top name as well. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, this axe needs a name. This axe has to have a name. What would it be called? It could be a little stupid. It probably would be a little stupid. I get the sense that Baxter is maybe not the most creative. Some legendary name that you can't help but, like, Kingmaker, or I don't know, Skull Cleaver, or something like that. Have the gem missing. Legend has it you need to put the gem back to pull the axe out. It's even better. Alright. It has a... Okay, so it has like a socket then. It has an empty socket capping the handle. Yes, one of the many rumors is that you need to be the true king. You need to be pure of heart. You need to put the gem back in. Siren's Blessing. That's pretty good. That sounds like something Baxter would come up with. Mistbreaker. That's pretty good too. Mistbreaker is the title of a book. Yeah, definitely something like sailing oriented. I like Mistbreaker. I really like Mistbreaker and Siren's Blessing. Let's do... Sure, we'll call it the Mistbreaker. What did I just do? Mistbreaker. And hopefully someone will use Detect Magic. Shit, it should be... It should be magic. Maybe it should be magically fixed in place so that if someone uses Detect Magic, they will get the glow from the axe and think that the axe is magic still, even though it's just the attachment spell or whatever. Maybe we're going too far with it. Again, they'll probably... Like, I don't want them to get too held up on this axe, because this is the first thing they're going to see, and they're like, well, that's it. That's the plot. That's what the DM wants us to figure out how to get the axe out. Let's leave the axe. We got a lot about the axe. Let's leave the axe. And Detect Magic is a level 1 spell at least, so they can't just use it with impunity. Okay. There's a heck of a tavern we have here. We'll let them get Mistbreaker out too. Mistbreaker, if they don't figure it out in their first time in, Mistbreaker will have a... Mistbreaker will be a recurring character. Let's put this much time into 600 more objects. Oh yeah, buddy. In the bar. Okay, now let's talk about every individual spoon in the bar. Let's actually talk about who's in the bar. The bar is empty. Save 4. We need a number of Crowns Guard that they feel like they can't fight. There are 5 Crowns Guard in the bar. Capital C. They're off duty. 5 off-duty Crowns Guard. They're still in their armor and guard uniforms, but you know, weapons stowed beside them, and they're drinking beers. They each have a drink. Looks like they maybe just came off duty. They're talking quietly in a group of 2 who will be sitting at the bar, and a group of 3 at a table. And they're just kind of, they'll mind their own business. There has to be a mangy dog. One of our characters has a rat that I keep forgetting about. A pet rat. Let's hang on to the dog for now. Because we have a dog in one of our cells, because for some reason we have a fat little Shiba Inu in one of our Supermax prison cells, which is maybe a druid trapped in wild shape, we don't know. For the same reason that we made Baxter not have an eye patch, maybe we'll leave Mangy Dog for now. 2 peas and snappishly. So these Crowns Guard they're in on this thing. You know, they've been given a description of the party by Tommy, who asked them. Tommy knows what they look like. He's asked them all to come here with this express purpose, as well as the Golem's Eye. They're waiting for everyone to arrive before springing the trap. There are also... how many doors are there into this place? There's one out to the back, to the kitchen. And then there's that front door, which is fucked. So there's also 2 Crowns Guard waiting outside. Each the front and back doors. If the party tries to escape, they'll be waiting for them. A dog's bed in a bowl, but no dog visible. All right. Close the door. There. There's a dog bed. A food bowl in the corner, but no dog visible. They're not... Black Baxter is in on this. Black Baxter is a willing participant. They're not holding his dog hostage. He likes gold and has no problem breaking laws, and so is in on it with Tommy. Hell yeah, I'll help you with your heist, Tommy. I like gold just fine. Especially if all he has to do is, like, hang out in this bar and make sure nobody comes in for a night. We'll have somebody come in and Baxter will turn him away. Yeah, we definitely should do that. Okay, so our party is in. Our party has all kind of trickled into the Hag's Head. We're kind of getting ready to like start the adventure in earnest. And then someone comes in, a patron comes in, but because Baxter knows it has to just be the party in here, because the Crowns Guard are just gonna arrest everyone in the bar. He has to come up with some reason to keep them out in a way that won't alert the players. You know, he can't just say, "Hey, we're closed" or anything. Okay, how about what's our party? We have a gnome, we have a forest gnome, we have a tiefling, we have a drow, we have a human, and we have an elf. So what if a race not in our party comes in and Baxter is like, "Hey, no blanks allowed," basically. "Not in my bar. No dwarves allowed." Or something. Someone starts pushing the barrel. The drunk. The town drunk Corey Leahy tries to come in. Corey Leahy, Trevor Leahy, Trevor Corey, Corey Trevor. Shouts at them. Grunts about rich snobs. Slumming it. Yeah, that could work. I almost want it to be... I want it to be a little suspicious. In hindsight, I want the players to think of this and be like, "Oh, fucking that's why he..." And like, in the time, I want it to seem weird. Be like, "Wait, what?" That's really good, Riven, actually. I like that the dude walks in and like kind of makes eye contact with Baxter, and Baxter just fucking stares him down until he backs his ass out of the bar. That's pretty good. It's a regular that so the Hag's Head is probably mostly regulars because this place is run down and dangerous and gross. So someone walks in that Baxter knows, and he just stares him down until he like, "Oh, is this so?" So just like backs out and closes the door. Is Kevin every game I'm DMing? Yes, as is Oliver. I like that. I like that a lot. The bar is empty. So once the party is inside, well, who's gonna try to enter? How long after this person tries to come in do they get grabbed? Pretty soon, pretty fast. Like once they're all in there, it'll be just long enough to kind of put them at their ease. Put the party at their ease and let them kind of look around and I mean, hopefully maybe talk to one another a little bit in character and get to know each other. And then they're going to spring this trap pretty fast, though. The guard pushes the barrel back into the door. Oh, fuck, yes. Yeah, yes. This whole thing happens. And because the barrel gets pushed out, the door gets opened. And then... just silently, without even saying anything, a guard gets up and just pushes the door. Might be nothing. Might be sinister. Oh, they give me chills. It's like in Game of Thrones. when I won't spoil anything, but a lady rolls up a guy's sleeve and sees he's wearing chainmail underneath. It's like, oh shit! Yeah. Alright, who's gonna try to enter? We'll just say a dwarf. It doesn't really matter who it is. We'll say a nondescript dwarf. What is he? He's a dwarf. What's he wearing? He's got a huge beard. He's got a large braided beard. This is a dwarf-ass dwarf. He's got a large braided beard. He's got long hair, which is like kind of braided into his beard. He's got sort of long. It's not red. It's like the color of my hair. What would you call this? It's not red, but it's not brown. It's like somewhere in between. Auburn, I guess. Sort of braided into his beard. Oh, tries to enter. Oh, when they close the big door in that same scene, yeah. Oh yeah, and then they start playing the song. I just watched that scene not very long ago. Tries to enter, and Baxter silently stares him down until he backs out the door. Tried to come in through. So he just kind of does this, like, he opens the door and is like, you know, pushing the barrel out and then kind of, okay, my hair is not maroon. Gemma. Baxter just stares him down. Like, they know each other. There's a little hint of recognition there. And Baxter just kind of gives him a very subtle, like, you know, maybe there's some bad blood, maybe he owes him money type of thing. The players don't really know. And he just, backs out. And then one of the guards comes over and pushes the barrel back against the door. Because the latch is broken. The Hag's Head is a fantastic place. What a well-realized... This feels like a real place. This feels like a real place with its broken door and its trick axe. Okay, great. Where are we? Once inside, a dwarf with long... Yeah, he tries to get him through. So they'll chit-chat for a little bit. And then, basically, the 2 Crowns Guard outside each store are going to rush in. The jig is going to be up. Stop, you're under arrest. Throw your weapons down type of thing. If they try to resist, they'll get the shit beat out of them. There could be combat here. There could be combat here. Probably nobody will die. It's... So, going unconscious is different than dying. And it is actually kind of hard to die at level 1 unless you are fighting... It's kind of hard to die, period, for the most part, unless you're in very tough combat encounters or if you die real early. So if the party decides to fight here and not go quietly, they will have a combat. They will have a real combat. They will get knocked unconscious. Maybe players will die. It's always possible in my games. You can always die, but I tell my players this every session. If you do die, you're not out of the game. There's 10 million ways to bring someone back to life in D&D. You can play a different character. We can write your character right. Like, players know to, especially if like they are dicking around, they know to expect death. And this is one of those situations where if they want to try and fight, they're absolutely more than welcome to. They're going to be fighting 8 Crowns Guard. And there are more outside. They're in the middle of a city where an alarm can be sounded and more Crowns Guard can be summoned very quickly. But they're more than welcome to try. That could be really interesting. Especially if one of them, especially if they're hooked on this axe idea and they're like, the axe is the only way out. Let's all try to get the axe. Which is exactly how one of our first sessions went, where we did the vault or whatever. We did the Master's Vault, and inside the vault they found a book, a code book, a map, something else. One of the items was a sword, and so this boss fight is happening, and one of the players is like, Just like, I'll wave the sword around, because they were so convinced the sword was the only... They had to get the sword and figure out the secret of the sword and use the sword. Really, they just had to fight this necromancer guy. But one of the players was like, just dicking around with the sword the whole time. Of like, I hold the sword in the air. I throw the sword. It was like just fucking around with the sword, not doing the boss fight. And I didn't kill them. I should have. There was lots of opportunities where like, well... Probably your character would have died here. It was their first time, so I didn't want to outright kill anybody. But they know. I told them after that session, I was like, listen, y'all, if this wasn't our first session, y'all'd be dead. Y'all be way dead right now. But that's not a bad thing, right? Failure, if you're DMing well, characters failing should be as enjoyable as characters succeeding. Obviously, you don't want to make your party feel like they can never do anything they're trying to. You know, you want them to succeed more than they fail. But failure is a very real thing. Very real thing. And it has its own interesting set of consequences. And players will fail in my games. Always. You wish you had a DM like me? Oh, that's very sweet of you to say. The way I sort of learned to DM, the way I do now anyways, and the way, this is just real life advice. Use this with anything. Find something you like and respect and admire in the... in whatever, in podcasting about video games, in Dungeons & Dragons, whatever. Find something you like and then take all the things you like from it. All the things you think they do well, copy them. Do what they do. And then change the things you don't like about it. Fake it until you make it. So without tipping my hand too much, I have, I listen to a lot. I listen to everything Critical Role makes. I listen to everything Friends of the Table makes. Which are 2 live play podcasts, which I would highly recommend. They're fantastic. I got no problem plugging them. And I take kind of what I like from both of those DMs, and I try to emulate that as much as I can. And they do stuff I don't agree with, though, and like doesn't make sense for my group, so we change things there. And just and read a lot. I read hours every day usually. You'll be starting a new one with a different DM who has more experience. It can use the player too, right? If the DM is kind of not running sort of the style of game that you as the player like to play. Like if you, and we'll always come back to this because I love the improv and sort of hate the dice rolling. The dice rolling is this evil necessity that we need to have a game. But if you want more improv, start improving your actions a little more instead of like, I like to attack with my bow or whatever. Like, what does it look like? Describe what it looks like. I take an arrow from the quiver on my back, and I quickly, without even pausing to aim, draw it back, and loose it at the whatever we're fighting, orc. Just start to narrate it a little bit more, and hopefully maybe the DM kind of starts to meet you on it a little more. I don't just cast Burning Hands. I don't just cast Haste. I take I reach into my pouch and I get a smear of molasses on my hand, and I put it in the center of my palm and bring my hands together. When I open them, this whatever, just start describing it. Sell your moves, basically, in wrestling talk. Describe them out. Okay, where are we? I'm all turned around here. You have 2,000 books on shelves around you right now? That's dope. I bet that room sounds incredible. I want a library one day to record podcasts and things in, and also to have a dope-ass library. So combat, they can fight here. If they do, we've got the 5, like we say, we've got 5 in. 5 Crowns Guard in. 2 on the back, 2 on the front. They'll come in, they'll get arrested. And then I'm just going to write point form notes for what I want to happen here. You love doing that. Only get a low roll so you look like an idiot. Hey, that's all part of it. That's all part of it, right? The dice decide. You like a good role-playing dice roll balance? Yeah, so do I. That's what I try to find as best I can, because a lot of players won't like the role-playing, a lot of players won't like the dice roll, and you kind of try to find a good balance of each. I'm going to do point form notes here. Basically, just little story beats that I kind of want to hit in this beginning part of this campaign. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'm not going to write out a full paragraph to read them every time. because, like we say before, these plans won't survive contact with the players. Maybe all this stuff is going to last about 10 minutes, and they're going to end up not even going to prison and doing this crazy other thing. And it feels bad as the DM sometimes too, right? If you spend hours planning out and writing and illustrating this beautiful set piece, and then the players don't even ever see it. So I usually... It sounds a little shitty, but I put the minimum amount of effort into the in-between parts, because the players are going to make that stuff up. The players are the ones who are going to come up with how does their trip to the prison go. You know, do they resist? Do they struggle and the guards, you know, end up putting bags over their heads? Do they try to make an escape? Does somebody run into them? It's all going to depend on kind of the feedback they're giving me. I feel like the players are going to attack the guards. Players hate being arrested. Yes, they probably will. They probably very will. And they do hate being arrested, you're right. And well, in my experience, players hate being forced to do something. We have 3 first-timers in our group of 5. So we're just taking some liberties. This is almost a tutorial session. This is almost a, like, learn how to play the game. And they have played. They do know how to roll dice, and they do know how to read their abilities, and they know, like, what the words mean. But we are definitely forcing their hand a little bit on this one in a way that I don't usually do. Once we get to episode 2, they're going to have just free reign of the world. Hopefully they'll have a little bit of general direction for us of, like, okay, they seem like they're interested in this, so maybe we'll spend some time on this pirate base or whatever. But we'll open the floodgates after this. You want to watch the gameplay? I know, we're working on it, Riv. We're really working on it. Getting a live play podcast up is my main priority, but we're a ways from it. I need a setup. I need a studio for it. Our studio just doesn't work if we're gonna do it well. I need a cast, because I can't ask any more of the fellas who already podcast with me. Like, those guys are at capacity time-wise. So there's a lot of figuring that has to go into it still. But it is my number 1 priority. I know. We'll make it happen one day. All we need is a budget for it, honestly. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to... I mean, I would hold my players to a much higher standard, but I wouldn't be opposed to paying people to play Dungeons and Dragons. You know, they put the time and the work in. Maybe have it be more like a cutscene. They've already been arrested. So the cutscene part is, they have these story hooks. Normally, two of my players are writing their own story hook, their own backstory, and yes, this is The Witcher. 3 of them are brand new, and I told them to write their own story, and they just kind of didn't. So I wrote them. They have their little hooks here, which is kind of the cutscene part. They all meet in this hag's head. And they can totally try to fight the players, or the guards. Absolutely they can. Absolutely. It'll be fairly obvious that they're in the center of the hub of civilization, you know, the most heavily guarded and well-organized city on the continent, pretty much. But they can try. They can always try. They can always try. In my games, players are free to put the gun to their head and pull the trigger if they want. They can do anything they want as long as they're prepared to live with those consequences. And it's almost a good lesson too. We're trying to kind of basically teach them a few lessons here of, like, this is a good lesson about freedom and the consequences that come with it. I sort of hope they try to fight. So at some point, if this all goes to plan, which it won't, the players will be in this bar, this tavern. Trap is sprung, and alright, it's time to go to jail. So the players will be escorted to the harbor. At some point on this trip, old Tommy is going to get involved. And it's going to be kind of a... just tape a camera to my head. It's gonna be sort of the way I'm visualizing this scene is like they'll be blindfolded or bagged or something, but at some point they're basically just gonna run into somebody in these crowded streets, and it's gonna be Tommy. He's gonna say something to the effect of like, what are you, blind? Out of the way, idiot, or something. But he's gonna slip this little vial of acid into our rogue, into Nyx's belt, and that is gonna be one of their escape tools that they can use once they get to our little like puzzle dungeon we've made. It's gonna be a little vial of acid. It's also gonna have a note that basically says like, all right, get the thing I need, and I'll pick you up, or you're fucked. So what do we think is like a good kind of natural way, or maybe there just kind of is a collision because these streets are full, right? We're, well, not packed full, but there are people in the streets, and they do have quite a walk. Will they all have their items when they get to prison? They will be stripped of like armor, weapons, and anything that isn't expressly hidden. They'll get the pat down. This vial of acid, unless they somehow tip their hand, this vial of acid will be hidden away. In the final battle of your campaign, all the other characters died except you, and you ended up winning but then succumbed to your wounds. Oh, that's bittersweet. Let's take a look at our dungeon here. Here's the dungeon we came up with. Player of X. Little micro dungeon. This is the offshore Waterdeep prison. There are 12 identical cell blocks to this, which are completely isolated from one another. So it is this sort of this windswept island with no trees and these 12 just squat little buildings. But inside each building, you go kind of in a main, it'd be a processing room, like a holding cell almost. And then once you're ready to go down to the cells, they take you down these stairs. You got to come past the warden's office and into these 12 kind of supermax cells. So there's 12 blocks, which each hold 12 prisoners. 144. Maybe the guy who slips it in is one of the guards undercover. That's a pretty good idea, actually. It's a pretty good idea. Tommy has this grand plan, right? The whole crux, if you're just kind of joining us here at the end, the whole crux of this first episode, Tommy Fornox wants to steal the MacGuffin, the plot item. The plot item, for whatever reason that we still have to math out, is in the evidence of this particular cell block in this prison. And so Tommy, knowing that you can't break into a supermax prison, I mean, you can try, knows the easiest way to get in is to just get a group arrested. Once the group's arrested, and they know that like they get the MacGuffin for me, or I'm not going to get you off this island, they kind of have no choice. They can't betray him, or at least he thinks they can't betray him, right? They kind of have no choice but to get what he wants for them. And he knows all this, though. He wants them to succeed, but he also wants them to be unawares for this plan to go off without a hitch. Pat down so he slips it in. The only reason I don't want one of the Crown's Guard in on it. Well, maybe there is no reason why I don't want the Crown's Guard in. That's a much more natural. Yeah, you know what? I like that. Yeah, totally. One of the Crown's Guard is on the pay. Yep. That makes a lot more sense. Players be escorted to the harbor, where they take. There are 5 of them. They'll go 2 to a boat. They take like several small rowboats over. Let's take a look at the Waterdeep harbor. So this island doesn't really exist. The prison is like sometimes very, very loosely mentioned. It's sort of half canon. It's not really canon. They don't even have it on this map. So we can put it wherever we want. It would definitely be in the harbor. It probably doesn't really matter. It could even be Deepwater Isle. Even though I know Deepwater Isle is a place with a name and things and story and lore, we could maybe just put it on Deepwater Isle in our alt history version of Waterdeep here. They take us from all rowboats to we'll just call it the southernmost island. Southernmost island. That needs a hyphen or is one word. What does the island look like? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's windswept and barren. Rocky. It doesn't really have a lot of. There's not a lot of plants because there just isn't a lot of soil on it. It's kind of just a rock. We'll say with a little soil and a few sparse patches of yellow grass. Rocky soil, few sparse patches, yellow grass. On 12 single-story buildings. And they're very, like, very, what's the word for it? Like, geometrically arranged. They're, will they be able to see or have something covering their eyes if they're conscious? They'll probably have something covering their eyes, but there's always a lot of ways around that. We still gotta know what the island looks like, even if the players do have something covering their eyes. Oh, wait, do we... Oh, no, I was gonna say, maybe we have a wizard with a familiar, so somebody might be able to, like, do the familiar vision, the fucking goes into his trance and looks through his familiar. But we don't have a wizard. 12 single-story buildings, very evenly spaced and arranged in a 4x3 grid. And they'll be taken into one of these buildings, one of these cell blocks. Yes, if they're blindfolded, they'll smell the salt of the sea, and they'll, hear the caw of gulls, and people going about their business on the docks. Depending on what time of day it is, it's probably night, so it might be. The docks are never abandoned, but certainly less busy in the night. But yes, you're absolutely right. Always, what does it smell, look like? Well, I usually start at smell. What does it smell? Is there a taste? Is there like a tang of sea salt in the air? Does it have kind of that fishy smell, probably from like mollusk and mussel vendors? Maybe they walk past a fish stall at some point. I do most of that kind of descriptive improv just from the hip. It's kind of good practice. Once you get a little better at it, it helps you in a lot of situations where you're like, the party did this, huh? I need to come up with something right now. Boom. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? Is it humid? Everybody always forgets to, like, one of the first things you notice about air quality is whether it is humid or not. Is it muggy? Is it dry? But personally, I do most of that from the hip. I didn't always. When I started, I wrote them out. If we look at let's go back to that first campaign we were looking at. On that one, I wrote it out literally word for word. Read it off a page to your party. It's all about you. It's all about what are you comfortable with? How's it work for you? Yeah, see this one? Boom. Just reading what it looks like. What does the thing look like? There it is. Read it, do it. So when they get to the island, or once they're are escorted into a building, they are stripped and searched. The guards take all weapons, armor, items, and everything except basic clothing. And the guard who searches our rogue, whose name is Nyx, Slips a small vial wrapped in notes into her belt during the search. Vial is acid. Acid! The notes we'll write out, but we'll basically say, here's the real job, found that thing. Is this Skyrim music? Oh, see? This is a bad song because you knew what it was. This is a bad choice for my soundtrack because it was too iconic. You know what this one is? Damn, you saw. You saw! Okay, I think we're pretty much getting close to what I would call done. And again, like my campaigns, and I encourage you to try, if you're DMing yourself, I encourage you to try to do it like this, because you'll get better at improving and better at filling in the gaps, are just key points, and are gonna become even less constructed than this. Eventually, they will almost just be a series of places with characters in them, and very general descriptions of the characters' motivations, and descriptions of the places, and it's up to the players to go where they want and to talk to who they want, and see what they want. Maybe whisper something in her ear. He could. I mean, I think it'll be pretty obvious. Like the player will definitely feel this guard slip something into their belt. It'll be. I think it'll probably be pretty obvious enough, and as well. In the interest of secrecy, I don't know if, you know, in the cell block processing area where they strip and search the prisoners and stuff, with all these guards, in probably 5 guards patting down 5 party members, might just opt for silence as opposed to maybe getting identified. You guess it's more setting up the world rather than the plot. Exactly. That's how I try to do it. And eventually, we'll get, like, we have some very general plots we want to hit, right, from our characters' backstories, where we're going to go to the Underdark eventually. We're going to have this whole, there's going to be a drow incursion at some points, because one of our players really wanted to be a drow. So we have, like, some very, very general story marks that we're going to hit, which I have pretty much just jotted down in our kind of garbage notes on the top here. But yeah, I try to just set up the world and then let them have it. Next thing you know, they rat out the guard. Hey, that could be an option. That could be an option. We want, again, we're trying to find the balance of having training wheels on for these guys and gals, these players of ours, just for this first episode. So we have to kind of ride this weird balance. But also they have to know that things have consequences. We've played one session with them before, and you know, like new players sometimes do, in one of the combat encounters, 2 of the players just completely fucked off and did their own thing, like weren't even in the same room, and really they should have all died right then and there. But this particular group of players knows you fuck around, you're gonna die, especially because I owe you one from kind of last episode. But they also know that death is not the end, as we discussed earlier. Dying in D&D can be a cool, fun thing. You know, you can always get your character back. Always. There's always a way to revive them. There are lots of ways to revive them in D&D. You know, we can write a new character if you want. You can change classes. You can, you know, it's as long as the player's always having fun. And these guys know that death is a very real thing. Very real thing. I would love to kill somebody in episode 1. That'd be dope. Again, only if they ask for it, though. Only if they're really asking for it. Do I have a favorite class to play? I personally like to play Warlock. I really like the kits. I like that their spells refresh on short rests, and thematically, I like the patron, kind of the weird bond that you and your patron have to have. And there are so many different takes on it. Like, did you pledge yourself to your patron's service? Did they sort of browbeat you into serving them? Are you at odds with your usually evil patron? I really like playing warlocks, personally. Or I like casters, for whatever reason. Warlocks are wizards. Go Game of Thrones and all these players. Kill a veteran player off. Yeah, I should. Just kill Kev. Kill OJ. We'll kill the character who is playing a descendant of his character from that training game, and then he can write himself back in as a third descendant in this lineage. It's what's that indie game? I can't remember now. We were playing the roguelike we were playing. Come on, help me out. You're playing the different lineage, or you're playing the lineage. Everyone is a descendant of the last one. Sometimes they have like color blindness. I can hear the music in my head. Rogue Legacy, thank you. Okay, so we have players meeting at the head. We have this beautifully described tavern we came up with, complete with its fake tourist trap axe buried in the bar that no one can remove, but it's actually just bolted on the bottom, which I really love. And it's broken door. It's broken door that doesn't stay latched, so it has a big barrel that you have to push behind it to keep it shut. We have, in very, very loose terms, them getting arrested and going to this prison block. We'll just call this block 1. We have a few good characters here. Tommy Fornox is not really going to appear in this campaign too much. He'll be waiting to pick up the party should they escape with the MacGuffin. We have our female Tabaxi, who's been blinded from trying to escape too many times. We have the Warren, the Warden, and we have Black Baxter, the bartender. Missing 3 fingers. No, missing 2 fingers. Yeah, cut off at a rope. Cut off by a rope while he was a seaman. We have our 10 cells. One of which is legit empty. We have our angry purple tiefling. We have our pale skinned dwarf who hates orcs. We have our tiefling curse with silence. We have our female drow who will very snappishly demand that the male drow kind of obey her commands. She'll demand freedom the first time she sees our male drow party member and sort of expect him to obey. Because drow is a very, very matriarchal society. We have Whistler, who is this strange, we don't really know if he's a person or what he is, but he can carve objects that then become real. So he could, if asked, carve things like a shovel or a pry bar or small items within reason. One of them has a dog. One of those little Shiba Inu. He's a very fat little doggy. Nobody knows what's up with him. Could just be a dog. Could be more than a dog. We have our blind Tabaxi, who's named Mist. We have our seemingly empty room, which I don't remember who came up with this, but this was great. It's actually a trap in the Supermax prison. One of these cells is dedicated to just trying to trap escapees, and it is a bed that if you very carefully and closely look, you can see bits of broken floor, as though there might be a tunnel underneath, and there is. The tunnel doesn't go very far. It goes down a couple feet, but the bed itself is a mimic, which will then attack whoever tries to go in that, probably in the cell. And then we have our shaven head elf, who stands completely still in his circle of salt. Never moves, never speaks, never eats. A high perception roll will hear faint whispers in the cell. We have our guard patrols, which come in every half an hour. This is kind of our players' little sort of stealth / social encounter. Deal with these guards. This could also become combat as well. They could totally fight these 2 guards. We have our common area, which is another chance for stealth. And if they're loud, they will awaken these. We have some sleeping guards in these side rooms that will come in and have a little bit of a combat. We have our armory, which is basically where the guards go and get their weapons and their shields and their swords. They put them back there when they're off duty, and also all the mundane items will be stored in here in this locked chest. In the common area, we have a cooking fire, a hearth with a fire in it. That hearth has a chimney. If players have any acid left, or if they get an item that, you could be... I called them escape tools. If they get an item that could break these grates, these two thick iron grates, are built into the stonework of the chimney to stop people coming in or out. But they could theoretically throw the fire out and try to go up the chimney. We have our records room. Oh yes, we need to insert late campaign story hook here. If the party tries to search some of these files, we have this records room for this Supermax prison where there's probably some very sensitive information that we need to get in here as well. This is also a chance for them to get many samples of handwriting if they want to forge a document. Having comment when the party has no items could be deadly. I mean, guards at a CR8 or 1/8, I bet they can take 2 guards, the 5 of them unarmed. They do have AC 16. But our casters will still have their spells, right? Unless it's something that needs a material component. I bet they could take 2 guards. Maybe. What is an unarmed strike? It's on what, a D2? Oh, I just saw it. Damage equal to... it's just 1 damage. 1 plus your strength modifier. But you are proficient. I bet they could take them. We'll find out. 1 damage plus strength modifier. A person called Mist and an axe called Mistbreaker. You're right. You're totally right. So here's one last thing we need to think of here. Is because the party will almost inevitably search this file room, and I would like to find some. It'll be cryptic right now. It won't make sense right now, but I would like to seed some late hook. I do have some ideas. I might put a very specific character backstory thing here that I've been kind of trying to figure out how to tie in. Dreambreaker. No, it's too late. It's already missed. It's already Mistbreaker. They probably won't find out the name of the axe unless they ask specifically what is the name of the axe. So our how did it go? Our monk, who is here trying to figure out how her monastery sister was murdered. I gotta ask them some questions actually about that. We'll leave that for now. I have to ask the players. I need to know a little bit. I need to know a couple specifics about their backstory, and then I'm gonna put those specifics in there, which will fit actually perfectly. So I'm gonna remind myself with this will end up being hook for the character's name is Arignani. Look for Arignani's backstory. But I need to double check something with them before we can do that. So we have the records room. Boom, boom, boom. We have the warden's office with our interesting warden who is suspicious of these prisoners who are thrown in here and don't have any paperwork. You know, she... If they're very perceptive, they'll hear her kind of arguing with the Crown's Guard that brings them in of like, I don't have names, I don't have paperwork, I don't have anything on them, and he's sort of gonna be like, just put him, you know who sent me? Just put him in, he says just put him in the cells. Just put him in the cell, don't worry about it, type of thing. So she's gonna be very suspicious, and is a genuinely good person, so could be talked around. You know, I don't think she also has a quarterstaff. It's an immovable rod. I don't think she'll necessarily escort them out or anything, but could go either way. She could totally decide to help the party based on how they talk to her and interact with her, or the party might never see her. Right? They might wait. They might try and avoid her. As the warden, they probably will. But she is kind of designed and will be played as a character who is at odds with the party, but I still really want them to like her. You know, even though they're at cross purposes right now. So we'll see how that goes. It could go either way. But she's an interesting character with depth. All of our characters that we've made, our three main ones, our four main ones. Well, Tommy doesn't count. Our three main ones have quite a bit of depth to them, which I really like. So she's in her office. She'll leave occasionally. If they would like to wait until she leaves, they can wait by the doors and things. And she does the faces of her guard, so she'll know that anyone wearing a guard's uniform isn't supposed to be in this block. That's not to say she sees through the disguise. She doesn't know that you are not a guard. She just knows that you are not supposed to be here. We have our evidence room, where things only stay for 24 to 48 hours, which will be kind of included in our note to the players, where the players have to go get their MacGuffin. In the evidence room, we also have our magical item we made. How much bullshit do I allow for natural 20s? What do you mean? A natural 20, like, you can never do the impossible, right? If a player says, I step off this cliff and try to fly, even if they roll a natural 20, they're never going to fly. That's a bad example, because they could cast levitation. But, you know, like, you can never do the impossible. So, yeah, they fall with grace. Yes, you look great on the way down. Like a 20 would instantly convince the warden. It probably would in this case, because that's not impossible, right? She can be talked around. It is a critical success. You succeed to the best of your ability. And I like 20s to kind of feel a little special, usually too. So, like, if someone does a perception check on a natural 20 and gets a natural 20, even if they're not specifically looking for something, I might throw in, like, you know, if they're like, oh, what do I see on the ceiling? I want to examine the ceiling. Is there any, like, marks on the ceiling or anything? Like, okay, perception check 20. You know, you don't see anything on the ceiling, but what you do know, like, I'll always try to make a 20 feel powerful. But at the same time, you can never do the impossible, even if you get a 20. You know, I try to walk through the wall. You can keep rolling all day. Keep rolling all day. Get as many natural 20s as you want. You're never going to be able to walk through that wall. Will there be gear in the armory or in the evidence room? The gear is in the armory. The mundane gear is in the armory. Somebody at some point casts Detect Magic, and anything that is mundane or otherwise uninteresting gets locked into a chest in the armory, which has a lock to pick for our rogue. We also have a trapped lock on the evidence door, so they can get used to traps, which, if they do spring it, which they may, is it's poisoned, so it's not the end of the world, but disadvantage sucks. We have our Stein of Sounds. We made a magical item called the Stein of Sounds, which I'll have these available for you as well, if you want them. The Stein of Sounds is a wondrous item. It is a black ceramic stein with a platinum lid embossed with elongated, mouthless faces. The stein is capable of capturing a sound. Opening the lid causes the stein to capture a sound up to 60 seconds long. It fills with liquid, which is a thick, heady black stout when the sound is captured. Throwing it or dumping the liquid onto a solid surface causes the captured sound to emanate from the surface, and if drank, the sound then comes from the drinker's mouth. So it's kind of it's like a D&D recorder almost. It's like a yak back. You remember those when you were a kid? That thing you like record a little voice clip into, and then it can play it backwards or slow it down or whatever. And we also have a portable hole for them to get their item storage. And then we have one of our early backstory MacGuffins. The thing they stole initially, they got them put in here, which they could re-steal and try to sell if they want, or we hope they take it with them because the person they stole it from will be a great story hook in later episodes. But that is in there as well. And then there's our MacGuffin, the Nexus Key. And I guess we need sort of an ending. I guess we sort of have a loose ending, so if we got a spellcaster, we only have a bard, unfortunately. When they open the stein for the first time, what will the sound be? I'm so glad you asked. It is... What did we write down? Stone of Sound, Ceramic Stein, Platinum, Wooden Boss, along which has the sound of a sound stored of a struggle with the Crown's Guard. So, whatever prisoner had it when they initially got arrested, it must have been open, and you'll hear the sounds of chairs being knocked over and Crown's Guard. You're like, you stop, and that type of thing. Yeah, it's full of liquid, which is gonna be weird if somebody drinks it. A scuffle, yes. A fricassee, if you will. And then our end is very simple. Well, it may not be, but one way they may get out. If the party escapes, Tommy will be waiting just offshore in a small rowboat. Small rowboats, and provided the party got his Nexus key, the key that Tommy wants, he will row them back to shore. If they don't have the key, they're probably gonna fucking kill Tommy and row themselves back to shore, which, sure, also works. Or maybe he wouldn't even come to shore. He'd be like, show me the key! And then we will probably just end the episode right there, I would think. We only have about 4 hours. So I may start thinking about the beginning of next episode a little bit, just in case they get through this quick. And we can kind of put them in a spot to get ready. But this is about what I would bring into a session. This is a very real representation of how I prepare my sessions and what I bring in with me. You know, I'll probably not bring all these notes and everything, but there it is. Are they getting a reward from Tommy? They're going to get paid. Unexpectedly, they're going to get paid because they weren't hired by Tommy. Tommy kind of tricked everybody into getting locked up and then forced them to steal this thing. But he's going to pay them very well and kind of, in Tommy's mind, gold makes everything all right. So we'll see how they take to that. He'll roll them back to shore. And he'll kind of play it like it was the job the whole time, because some of them he did hire for a job, like our rogue Nyx and her friend. He did hire for a job to steal that Golem's eye. It was really just a thing to get them thrown into jail. But he'll be like, "Yep, there you go. See, hired you for a job done. You're paid. Everybody's happy, right? Right." How do you put an image on Discord? Yes, mobile or PC. I can show you. If it's on PC, you go press this little play button, upload a file. Here in our D&D channel on the Talking Reckless Discord. There are 5 players. I want them to be pretty well paid. Not enough to go and buy themselves a hot magical item or anything, but we also want to... I usually kind of fast forward through level... Oh, did you see Ludicrous? I can show you again. Click the plus, upload a file. And then upload your file. Sorry, what was I saying? Oh, I sort of fast forward a little bit through levels 1, 2, 3. I usually like to start at level 2 or 3, but because these are new players, we want them to have time to get used to their abilities and all that. So depending on how it goes, we'll probably level up this level, because level 1 sort of is boring as shit. But again, we'll see. Hey, I know this. What's this one? Yes. He's gonna pay them. Well, he's gonna give the gold to Nyx, to the one he actually hired. It'll be up to her if she wants to distribute it or not. There are 5 party members. Let's say it's 1,500 gold. Let's say they each get 300 if they want. It's a big payday. No, okay. He's gonna offer them. He has 1,500 gold that he's willing to pay with, but he's going to offer them 750 gold. Offer to pay them for a job well done. 750 gold. Though he could maybe be talked into... He's expecting to pay 150, but he's gonna offer him 750. Let's say. pay 1,500 gold. But we'll try. He'll try and he'll try and drive a hard bargain. Boyo. It's a pretty good payday for level 2. It's a pretty good payday. And if they threaten him, Tom would be like, my boss wouldn't like that. That's a good point. His boss wouldn't like that. His boss would not like that at all. If they try to threaten him, Tommy will insist that his employer won't be happy. His mysterious benefactor, who we will write in a later episode. We'll leave it open now so it can be anything later. 1,000,000 gold? That's too much. That's too much. They might kill him and throw him in the river. That's a very real thing. But yeah, this is a great. This is it. This is what I will be bringing in. I'll have my little list of encounters ready to go. I'll have all my little, my pre-prepared stuff just in case they try and pull a fast one on us. But this should be, I'm hoping, about 4-ish hours. Under 4. 4 at the most. We have, I love our Stein of Sounds. I think that thing is dope. I really love our Hag's Head Tavern we came up with. I think this place is incredible. And I hope we see a lot of it this campaign. Okay, no dabs allowed. I don't see any dabs out there. Howdy, Mr. Warren. Yeah, cool. Done. We're going to call that a campaign. It only took 4 extra hours. It only took a whole extra stream to get it done. Our map. And these notes. And these magical items will all be available for you on our Discord if you would like to join. We do one of these streams a week now. 2 of them are for patrons. 2 of them are for everybody. And they happen on Wednesdays, usually. We did an extra one tonight because I have a game on Sunday that I have to get finished preparing for, which we did. And they're fun. They're dope, actually. We have come up with some incredible shit. I love our portable hole. I love our Stein of Sounds. And I really love the Hag's Head. So I'm super excited to run these people through it. So next Wednesday, well, we stream every day, but next Wednesday, we'll be streaming video games tomorrow on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is when we'll pick up the next DM's Guild. We'll talk about how it went, how the actual game went, what happened, where the story's at. We'll start working on episode 2. I will bring a bunch of new topics to discuss, DM tricks, stuff like that. What did we talk about today? We talked about music. We talked about using it. Oh, yes, I will have this playlist for you as well. Thank you very much for your follow. What did we talked about soundtrack. We talked about when to use it, when to not use it, what makes a good soundtrack, what makes a bad soundtrack, and all that. And I as well will have this available for you again on the Discord if you want it. And that's it. We're gonna call that a stream for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you had fun. And if there's anything, like I don't have there's no set thing that these streams need to be. Here, let's come over here. That's not the right screen. Let's come over here. So if there's anything you want to see, or if you want to know about, or if you have questions, or anything, please hit me up with them, either on Discord or even like in the stream chat or on Twitter or anywhere. Anything you want to know about, because I'm gonna try to bring like a topic at least each week of something we can discuss, whether it be we did music today and all that stuff. So please let me know. Give me some feedback. Yeah, that's it for me. We're going to call it a stream here today. Thank you very much for joining me, for hanging out with me. Great ideas as well. Thank you very much for your great ideas. This is going to be super fun. I'll get a little sweet spray. You hit me up anytime, brother. You hit me up anytime with any questions you want to know, my man. I'm always happy to talk D&D. We'll play Snake Eater, and we'll probably raid somebody. So if you would stick around and too sweet whoever we raid, I would really appreciate that. That stuff helps the stream. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow. That's not the right... I'll see you tomorrow. That guy just starts fucking screaming. Oh, man. Thank you very much. I hope Snake Eater plays. See you tomorrow.
and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain.
We're gonna raid Chad's. He's playing Anthem, which is a really shitty game. But he's a good Edmonton boy, so be nice to him.
The trial to survive for the day we see new light. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time.